Greetings, fellow true believers. Tiki here. And today is not my story. Today is the story of the channel co-host who has traveled far and wide and returned to us with a trip report. This is an annual event for Bluedragonfive. He goes to the Baltimore ComicCon every year. We've been doing this for a number of years. So to take us through his trip to the Baltimore Comic-Con and also Monster Mania, please welcome Bluedragonfive. Dragon, this is why I don't do intros.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense of that now. Yeah,
I was stumbling all over myself, man. I literally gave you a chance. I was like, "You sure you don't want to just?"
Well, you could have said, "Hey, I suck at intros. Could you help me out here?" You could have just said that.
All right. Well,
it's not like you've hosted a podcast for, I don't know, 10 years plus.
Over 10 years.
I know.
At this point.
I know. I was trying to lower the bar, but
Dragon, the bar has never been lower for my podcasting abilities.
Not even Hermes Conrad could limbo under that bar.
All right.
And that's a low bar. Anyway, yeah, so folks, it is that time yet again.
I warned you, man.
Not well enough, I don't think. Okay, regardless. Yes, folks, so it's the end. I've gone to the conventions. I'm kind of Tiki's avatar into the conventioning world, and I'm giving them kind of the breakdown how it went this year. Because I'm honestly I'm just sick and tired of sitting through his let me tell you, I've been to Shangri-La. Let me quibble over the food and the line. So here I'm actually gonna spin a yarn and actually kind of weave a narrative.
When's the last time you were actually on a trip report?
Well, that's the thing. I've stopped doing them because I'm sick of doing them with you. That's why it's been so long. Because it's
I do these with you every year. I'm a good sport about it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, because I'm actually telling you new things instead of let me tell you about the line politics.
Oh boy. Okay, well, to be fair, you do get into line politics.
I do get into line, but my
line politics, the most interesting things in every trip report. I'm not gonna lie.
Admittedly, my line politics are riveting. Let me tell you about Genie.
We got the classic Tiki Bluedragonfive banter. We're on a roll here. Let's go.
Okay, so we're gonna Tiki has no idea who I've seen or I kept this on the down low while he was busy frittering time away doing.
The only spoilers I have are some of the artwork that you've gotten.
That's it. Only because it was a necessity for him to see those. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna start with the Monster Mania. I did this convention in May, so I've been sitting on this one, mm-hmm. And it's a good one. It's a juicy one. All right, so if we get a little set dressing here.
We're just going to day one?
Well, we're going to Monster Mania. But...
Oh, Monster. Okay, I wasn't sure what came first. Okay, Monster Mania. All right.
Yes, so we're talking Monster Mania.
Is this okay for the color, for the banner?
I think so. I mean, it's red, right?
Okay. All right, as long as you're happy with it. All right, let's go.
Okay, so Monster Mania, this one came earlier. Sometimes it fluctuates when it happens. I think one year was April. Usually it's supposed to be around October, but so it kind of threw me that they're doing it in May. But yeah, so I was doing my preparations for this one, and like any convention, especially Monster Mania, which essentially is our friend Jacob Weil, he does what you call Celebrity Con. Lately, he's been doing a lot of those with the GalaxyCon. GalaxyCon is pretty much wall-to-wall celebrities. Mm-hmm. I mean, a dash of pop culture, mostly like meet and greets with the celebs.
I know the channel lots of people go to that one quite frequently.
Exactly, because that's all built for celebrities of all sorts of between animation, live action, internet, all those. It's kind of has a little bit of everyone there. These conventions, I mean, they're tailored towards the theme, but they also have media guests. But Monster Mania has more media guests than the Baltimore Comic-Con does. So with that in mind, so it's kind of like a taste of it's a small sampling of a GalaxyCon, one could say. Mm-hmm. So
whereas something like Mania, my local Comic-Con, the LumaCon,
yeah,
get it because we're in Petaluma.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just vendors. And a costume contest, and that's about it.
So your Comic-Con sounds like Severance.
Oh God, maybe.
It's what Lumen's convention would be. Let's sell you on the idea of bifurcating your psyche. Let's do that.
Oh God.
Anyway, so Monster Mania has like last minute additions, so you keep having to check frequently. See, oh boy, who have they added before they print out the little card thing for the little advertisement, little poster thing for everyone to see. Oh, who's going to be there?
Mhm.
Uh, as per tradition, my folks they love the Monster Mania. My father can't travel that much these days, but we can't go into basically his feet will give out. He can't do walking at all these days, and plus there's a parking thing within the city, so there's a lot of little red tape like that.
Yeah.
Point being, my mother, she was thrilled to learn that Lou Diamond Phillips was added.
Oh man.
So she was thrilled about that. I think she loves the show Longmire, which he's on. Anyway, so initially I was thinking, okay, Lou Diamond. It would seem to be a really blasé kind of year. Like, okay, well, we're gonna go to the Monster Mania. It'll be kind of cool. It's an easy breezy convention. It's one day. It's just like you don't really have to prepare all that much, and it's Lou Diamond Phillips. I like Lou Diamond Phillips. Let's go for that. But then everything changed, Tiki, when they announced one big name.
Okay, before you get to that, Dragon, really quick, the name sounds so familiar. What do I know Lou Diamond Phillips from?
Well, okay. So the main thing I know Lou Diamond Phillips from is Prodigal Son. He might have also been in The Lost Boys. I'm not sure. I actually,
Okay, so he's kind of like one of those '80s actors.
yeah, I could be wrong about the Lost Boys thing, but he's been, yeah, you're right. He's like very much an '80s actor.
Okay,
He's sure people in the comments will probably throw like yeah La Bamba. There you go. That's how big one people know him from Richie Valens and La Bamba.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
He's again. I don't watch Longmire, but he's like one of the main characters in Longmire, which sounds like he's really good. And I remember he popped up in like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like, and I think the photo we ended up getting was him like from his appearance in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he's like in prison and he's threatening to kill Peralta. That kind of anyway. So point being, Lou Diamond Phillips, he's really good in Prodigal Son. So
I
point
just
being,
wanted to
all of
get that as a baseline. Like, okay, like that's kind of like what you were working with, but then the big name happens. Dragon, drop
yeah,
the big name.
well, we're gonna build to that.
Oh, okay,
So we
okay.
go to the Harbor Hilton, which travel, the travel is a little tricky, in there because it's not like the convention center where the Comic Con's held. We know exactly where that is. The Harbor Hilton. This is like the second time we've gone to this new location. I've been to Harbor Hilton like, way back when I met Stan Lee for like the second time. There's like this hotel setup they had,
Mhm.
and it was basically at this location. Anyway, so getting there is a little tricky. You have to basically walk around to the front of it. So we get there, and the entrance to the hotel is like second time we've been here. The entrance to the hotel seems to be locked, and we're kind of in a pickle here. Plus, I'm a man on a mission here. Delays are not helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
So thankfully, someone was coming out, and they let us in. I said thank you, and then like I just figured it was some hotel guest. And once we get through the doors, my mother's like starting to, practically hyperventilate. She's like, "Oh," they just like tap me on the shoulder. Like, what? And she says, "It was Lou Diamond Phillips." I did a double take. Wait, what? So it was Lou Diamond Phillips, like wearing a hat, and he had like this little carriage with him. Essentially, Lou Diamond Phillips, he's in quotes walking his little chihuahuas. He had these little dogs, and he almost like Bela Lugosi's little dogs in the Ed Wood movie. He has like these little dogs in this little stroller because the only way you can get him through the hotel without like no pets in the hotel sort of thing or whatever. But yeah, so it was like already like, okay, that's kind of serendipitous. There he is, right there. He let us in. Thanks, Lou.
Nice, nice.
So, while we're waiting in line, it wasn't a huge line, thank goodness. Again, Sunday's the easy breezy day for the Monster Mania as well. Saturday's like the big day, so we kind of avoid all that. Unfortunately, I missed John Cusack was there, but only there Friday and Saturday. I would have loved to have met John
Mm,
Cusack, but that,
that would have been big. Yeah, yeah.
that's So anyway, so I recognize this volunteer who essentially is one of the Baltimore Comic Con minions, who's like a volunteer in the city who works between the two. And you recognize me, and I said, "Oh, hey,
Mhm.
so nice, the one nice minion between the two of them." That's what they're called. They're literally called like minions. This year they had a new name, but we're gonna get there when we get to the get to the Comic-Con. Anyway, so I take the temperature by proxy of this guy, and things are looking good, not too crowded. Line is not huge because of the Sundayness of it all. Anyway, so the mission statement, numero uno, the whole reason I'm there early and everything and eager to get in, like there's one, I'm dead set. If I can see one person, it is this person.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to know who that person is?
Sure, hit me.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh man, yeah, of course we would need to see him. Oh boy.
Of course, D'Onofrio is like on my bucket list of people to see at a convention. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it was like one of two, really, three. If you pie in the sky, Mark Hamill is a third. But let's be honest, that's never going to happen. So the point being, there's D'Onofrio and there's Tom Cavanaugh. Still no luck on Tom Cavanaugh. I'm just going to clip your wings there. That would be the two biggest baddies I
Remind
could
me,
think of.
have you met Charlie Cox?
Well, no, but I'm just saying in terms of like the villain bucket list,
Okay,
you got
villain bucket
King.
list. Got it.
I'm just saying that's achievable. Honestly, we get more villains than you'd think. So Vincent D'Onofrio and Tom Cavanaugh would be like that's the scenes. The point being, I'm eager to see Vincent D'Onofrio for obvious reasons. Loving Daredevil the way I do in his portrayal of the Kingpin, I agonized over the perfect thank you letter for D'Onofrio. I rewatched all of Daredevil and Born Again.
God.
Right, and this is in May. This is like right after I think Born Again just wrapped up too. It's just like. So, I wore my Rabbit in a Snowstorm shirt with the Kingpin's outline. The first time we see the Kingpin, he's standing in front of Rabbit in a Snowstorm, but he's like a black outline on the shirt. My mother also loves Daredevil. I got her, got her into Born Again as well, and so she's wearing her Daredevil shirt as well. And I'm like, I keep reminding her, it's like, my mother, try as she might, sometimes she's kind of pop culture illiterate, I would call it. And it's this thing of like, for the love of God, don't call him Fisk when you see him, okay? It's Vincent D'Onofrio. I just like, she shorthands, like, oh, Fisk is going to, yes, but his name is not Fisk, okay?
Not
don't call him
Mr. Fisk, not Kingpin, just Fisk.
Yeah, it's like, no, don't call him Fisk. Anyway, so I'm at the table. Like anything, there's always the worst part of any convention is like when you get there and it's the big person you're waiting to see and they're not there yet, and that always happens at the Monster Mania every year. So there's all the anticipation and the waiting anxiety. It's just like, oh God, how long are we gonna wait here? If I have other people to see, it's like, oh, I want to get out of here at a certain time as well, and beat the traffic. So the image I picked for the 8x10 was him as Kingpin from season 3 in front of all the white suits while wearing the white, Kingpin outfit. So it was pretty sweet, pretty good, I thought. So there was a wait. Now, usually, for like last year, the usual way the Monster Mania goes, this is like could be up to an hour wait. Now, I'm locked in. Like, okay, look, probably have an hour given the way this goes. Could be more than an hour given the status of the weight of the celebrity, not the literal weight he's trimmed down, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
So I'm scoping out the table right next to him, which is none other than Mike Coulter, Luke Cage.
Oh, nice.
Now I have met Mike Coulter before, so he was not a priority, but I was going to circle around to him if I had time because I've been meaning to get a new autograph photo of Mike Coulter. Like, should I ever have crossed paths with him? I kind of settled on, okay, look, if he's there and we got time, I will hit his table. And he was, lo and behold, he's right next to D'Onofrio. So like 20 or 30 minutes is going by here. I pop on over to Mike Coulter's table. He scat at 8x10 I want. And lo and behold, now like that 20-minute window, oh my God, D'Onofrio was there, and I'm like second in line. It's like, oh my God. it's like record time somebody has shown up. With the professional that D'Onofrio is, he's making more of a concerted effort to be on time.
Mm-hmm.
So I hop right back into that line. Like I'm, it's like, oh my God, I almost missed him. So I tail it back there, and I meet the man. I tell you, you remember the scene in the first season of Daredevil where where Matt Murdock meets Wilson Fisk in the art gallery when he's kind of like getting to him via Vanessa.
Sure.
It feels a little like that because he's wearing black. Remember, they just wrapped season 2, so he looked like the Kingpin. He had the shaved head and everything. It was awesome. It was just really good timing. And he was tall. He's wearing black. Like the first time we see him in Daredevil, it's like, it is a little imposing. I gotta be honest. Like, oh my God, he's as tall as he looks, Tiki. It's not like a trick photography. He's a very tall man. And he is surprisingly, he's kind of like, I guess, kind of like what we kind of introduced with Kingpin. He's shy. He's the shy and quiet sort, that D'Onofrio.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah, and he was very nice. He hyped up season two. I gave him the thank you letter, and also I included within the thank you letters this round, I included a little card with the podcast name on it, and discerning Daredevil. So you
Oh,
know,
okay. Nice, nice.
made it very clear I don't expect him to listen to every episode or anything, but just if he's bored.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I pretty much told him that, like, well, if you get bored. So yeah, he was nice. We got a picture with him. So again, oh my god, it was really cool meeting D'Onofrio and having it go so smoothly when it could have gone belly up given that 30 minutes. All right.
What you're describing with like the whole like, okay, how long should I wait in this
Yep.
line with the uncertainty of when it's actually going to start moving? That's like the dread that I'm facing right now with like potential breakdowns and stuff at Epic Universe. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but still, that's a bucket list item crossed off there, having met the Kingpin.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So Lou Diamond Phillips was next. My mother desperately wanted to meet him because again, kind of the
I
'80s
love
fame.
you, Lou.
Yep. So he charmed the heck out of my mother. I'll tell you that much. Lou Diamond Phillips was very nice. He was very sweet. He was everything she wanted him to be. She meant like she got a little starstruck. I kind of had to interpret a little bit.
Oh God.
It's like, oh yeah, she loves you in Longmire. And he did like in Longmire is this thing. I think he's a sheriff in Longmire. Basically, he does like this. The way he answers the phone, like not an answering machine message, but like he has like kind of like a catchphrase of sorts. Like when he answers the phone, he did it for her right there.
Mhm.
He did like the little like the call sign. I told him how much I loved him in Prodigal Son, and like the speculation what the third season might have been, all that. And then I thanked him for. By the way, thanks for letting us in. This is yeah, right. And then we kind of conversed a little about it's kind of weird how they had the convention set up and everything. Just
Right,
like
right.
walking the dogs and everything. So yeah, it was cool. So next up for me, and Monster Man's gonna go by really quick. It was just pretty much like meeting a few celebrities.
Yeah, you're all good.
So then there was this one was kind of this was a pathos filled one for me. He was before D'Onofrio was announced. He was my biggie for this reason. So Kiefer Sutherland was there.
Ooh, nice, nice.
I love me some Kiefer Sutherland, but not like everyone I think is going to Jack Bauer. Nothing against Jack Bauer. Again, I'm not a 24 guy, but from what I understand, Jack Bauer is pretty darn cool. And
You want to know an obscure role of Keith Sutherland's that I actually really associate him with?
not as obscure as mine, but what do you got?
It might be in the same tier though.
Okay,
but,
okay.
It's Littlefoot's dad from one of the Land Before Time sequels.
Really? In one of
Yes.
the sequels?
Yes, one of the sequels.
Okay, you win. That's
Yeah.
deeper.
That is deeper. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. But what do you say?
So Keith Sutherland, I go to two things. I go to
Okay.
the better role to me. His role as President Tom Kirkman in Designated Survivor, and that's the meaning. That's the pathos filled one for me because my father, but also my grandfather, he loved Keith Sutherland in that show because he loved political stuff. He loved political thrillers. He loved that kind of. The Designated Survivor had he loved learning things and kind of seeing the stuff that he learned kind of portrayed on television, which was the idea that there is an actual role in Congress, in government, I say, where basically if Congress got blown up, they assign a designated survivor, who basically a guy who just has the crap job, okay, I'm just gonna wait down a bunker here just in case anything happens. But this is the whole show is built on the premise what if something happened? That guy suddenly becomes president.
Right, right.
And that's essentially it. So you have a non-political animal who is now president, which of course is built upon I love with the movie Dave. So it's kind of
Right. Yeah, it is very much like that. Yeah.
It's kind of the more dramatic version of Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so my grandfather he loved Designated Survivor, and when Netflix brought it back, it really it was wonderful. The show kind of had a conclusion with that, and anyway, so because of that, I really wanted to see Keith Sutherland. Told him how much the show meant to me. And I did that. I told him, it's how much we love the show. But I also told him, the kind of on the flip side, my grandmother and I every year, one of her favorite Halloween specials that we watch is the Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween special.
Well, Little Blue just shouted that out.
Yeah, so that was my obscure pool. Keith Sutherland as General.
Uh-huh.
So General Monger. General Monger essentially is basically, and this it was so great hearing him say this because he was kind of charmed by me bringing up General Monger, and he mentioned that that he got the voice from you. It's basically him doing Yosemite Sam
Oh,
from
nice,
the Looney
nice.
Tunes, which I kind of heard about that like way back, but having him tell it to me, it was really cool.
Mhm.
Southern was very nice. He was really cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Sutherland did like a. He didn't do it. I don't think he offered a table selfie, which unfortunately I couldn't get a picture with him. But he was still really again. It was really
Mhm.
nice meeting. Okay, then I hit Mike Coulter, and I've seen him years ago at the Baltimore ComicCon. I told him that the usual stuff. I mentioned like the MCU hopes without like asking him for like details or anything.
Mhm.
Mentioned like, well, it'd be really cool because we have that Easter egg in Born Again with Harlem's Paradise, and he's like, oh yeah, I saw that too. Got my new Luke Cage picture signed. Sweet guy. Love me some Mike Coulter. I've been watching. I still haven't finished the last season of Evil, but he was really good in Evil as well. Like those are like the two Mike Coulter go-to roles for me.
Sure, sure.
Luke Cage and anyway David from Evil. Anyway, lastly, this one was not really for me. I had an extended family member that I didn't really care for the extended side of my family, so I didn't really care. But my folks wanted basically they were on a quest like, hey, David Thornton is here. David Thornton is Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies and Mean One, pretty much. I don't know if he was in Blood and Honey, but he's usually like the scary guy in the
Mhm.
costumes. We're doing for the
That'd be a really big one to get at a horror convention. Like, I imagine that'd be a really big draw.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he had a line, but again, because it could have been because it was Sunday, or I really have a running theory, and we'll get to this with the Baltimore Comic Con as well. I think the celebrities are really starting to price themselves out of business right now because I don't know it's because just
Mm,
the overall inflation, but again, the prices kind of are going up, and especially with all these shutdowns and everything, people they can't really spend that much.
sure, sure.
So I don't know. I'm not saying it was there was a little crowd, but it was a very manageable crowd.
Mhm.
Anyway, so upon being an extended family member of mine, the idea was like, we'll get this for them. They love the Terrifier, the clowns. They love Art the Clown, the Terrifier series. We'll get them like a little Christmas gift that is an autographed photo of David Thornton. And I met him, and I like me the horror icons. I've met Robert Englund. I've met Kane Hodder.
And honestly, he is very much like the modern generation of that kind of mold of like definitive character actor for the horror genre.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. It's cool that we're getting kind of a guy who's like we're trying to breed the next generation of the Robert Englunds of the like
Mhm.
the like,
Is it
so
fair to say that Doug Jones kind of fit into that mold as well a little
I
bit?
don't I
Like
don't
Doug
know.
Jones, maybe he isn't really defined by one role per se, like Robert Englund is, but he's still kind of like, very definitive character actor in the horror space.
Doug Jones is a definitive character actor, but I don't know if I. Yes, I don't know. Doug Jones is like in a different class because he's a soup performer, but he's a very good soup performer, and
Right,
it's not.
right.
That's like like we can't link him to a specific horror icon like the other
Yeah,
guys,
that's
but
fair.
he's
That's fair.
unless you count the Gill Man from Shape of Water, which I mean you
I
could,
honestly,
but
for me, as far as horror icons go, I think the closest he has is the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth.
that's the thing too. But it's not sure. It's fortunately no Doug Jones. I would love. Oh my god, I would love to meet Doug
Uh-huh.
Jones. But anyway, yeah. So David Thornton, he had played the Joker in this fan series on YouTube, the Nightwing Escalation, and everyone's been really on track with James Gunn saying, "Hey, cast David Thornton as the Joker. He really wants it."
Oh,
And
I could totally see that, and not just because of the clown thing, just because of how expressive he is.
that's the thing. Because seriously, folks, check out the Nightwing Escalation fan series on YouTube if you want to see what his take on the Joker might look like. And
Mhm.
I told him I gave him some praise for that, and it was yeah. So again, he was really nice. He was like honking the horn that Art the Clown has, but there it was
Nice, nice.
nice. I had no idea he was also in Mean One. That was a surprise to me, like seeing all like the evil Grinch, like photos on the table.
Mhm.
Anyway, so we took in some merch, kind of taking the sights of the tables, and that was pretty much it. So Monster Mania went pretty smoothly.
Right, cool. All right, anything you want to set up before we get into day one of Baltimore?
Let's see. Do we have any comments that need to be
Yeah,
read, or
I'm sure
we
we have a few comments here. Let's see. Well, yeah, Billy Butcherson. I think the point, Eli, is just that there's not one role that Doug Jones. He's more kind of a character actor.
yeah.
Slasher Fred just says another classic Keither movie is Stand By
That
Me.
is very true. Yes, I mean the reason I should mention this. The reason Kiefer Sutherland was there is the big thing this year was the Lost Boys.
Oh, sure,
So
yeah.
that's why he was him and a lot of Lost Boys alumni, which may or may not have included Lou Diamond Phillips. I don't know. I could be wrong on that one still.
All right, Jacob talk about Comic Con stuff, just saying Vincent D'Onofrio and Mike Coulter are coming to his Comic Con. He's also saying, let's see, sorry. One of my favorite interactions was talking to Steven Anderson for a lengthy period of time.
Tiki, do you remember who Steven Anderson is?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Basically, Disney animator and animation director extraordinaire. This guy was he directed Meet the Robinsons and voiced the bowler hat guy Meet the Robinsons. I've
Oh,
done
okay,
other stuff.
nice.
I want to say he worked on Brother Bear as well, but Jacob
Uh-huh.
is going to have to confirm nor deny that one.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're caught up.
Yep. All right. So I guess just in getting to the Baltimore Comic Con, so there was a lot of preparation that went into this. I'm talking like so
You want me to
Comic
switch
Con.
the banner?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. So Baltimore Comic Con, like any Comic Con, there's a lot of prep that went into it in terms of like I'm religiously like looking at the list of announced people, which can always shift and fluctuate and everything. And I'm because I have to sift through like over 50 boxes of comics. They're very heavy and stacked all over the place, so that's not. It's kind of like the ending of Raiders. It's like trying to find sets.
Right.
I guess more so, less the ending of Raiders, more the start of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
let's say
mean,
most.
isn't that literally the same setting though?
Well, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just saying it's like in finding something like you are at the start of Kingdom of the
Oh,
Crystal
right.
Skull.
I got you. My
know.
bad. Okay.
Anyway, so most of the searching I did, like I kind of have to lock in like basically 2 months ahead of time. I was like, okay, this is the list I should kind of like vaguely anticipate. Like the people, like I'm gonna kick myself if I didn't have this pulled aside. So I'm just gonna have it pulled aside just in case. There were a few cancellations, which is like, oh man, well there's some wasted effort there. But the point being, the goal, like every year, is to I bring this roller bag, and in the roller bag I have like the comics. It's like kind of like a battle. It's almost like a battle wagon of like everything I need's in here. I just kind of trail it along beside me so I don't, I get a hernia carrying like a backpack or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal every year has been like, if I could ever get it right, it will be day one is the roller bag, and the other days I will be able to travel light and just like not have the roller bag, have something lighter, and then maybe nothing at all. That is the goal.
Yeah.
So point being, with that in mind, again, remember because how expensive things are getting again between inflation or whatnot, and the fact that now artists and writers who formerly did not charge are pushed by their agents to charge. So that makes you get really choosy, and you have to be really selective about what you get signed and how much you get signed. So that did, for the first time ever, I was like, okay, I can actually get everything packed into the suitcase one day instead of having like, kind of swap things out between the 3 days. So the goal was like, I'm just going to take this thing on day one and try and get everything signed on day one. So the next 2 days go smoothly. That is the plan.
Okay.
So because of that, there's a lot of meticulous planning that kind of went into that to achieve that impossible dream. So the
This
media
is
guest.
just to make reference to my trip, Dragon. This is basically the equivalent of like, okay, can we ride everything at Epic Universe on the first Epic Universe day, so that the second day we don't have to worry about getting in on anything?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
basically the
exactly.
equivalent.
You're right.
All right.
All right. So there's also the media guest who they're going to factor in the day one here because my grandmother had a really ingenious suggestion that never. It's so simple. It kind of like I could have had a V8 moment of like just kind of giving the usual grandmotherly, just kind of like like oh, make sure you stay together and that kind of stuff and be safe and all that. But additionally, she's like. I told her about the big media guests, and he says like, well, you should try to see the most important people on Friday because people work on Friday, and kids aren't out of school or anything. Like
There you
on
go. There you
the
go.
point being, people would be busy on Friday versus Saturday, which basically gave me an answer. Why are things so busy on Saturday? Well, because of that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, additionally, it's also it's the popular soul day, it's the crowd day. But you're right, though. I mean, regardless, the point being the fact that Friday would be the ideal day to get all the heavy lifting done.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, I figured, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to hit my meet, my all my. I'm going to try and hit all the media guests on Friday, and then we'll see how the rest shakes out. Try to get that all the heavy stuff done on Friday. So at the very least, I can lighten the load as I go forward.
Okay.
Now, it's day one. It's Friday. The first up is the big media guest who has a thank you letter. The problem is, it's my Tiki. It's my endless curse with ComicCon. I had the thank you letter, which I agonize over, and it's like to the night before. It's like it's done, but then I have printer trouble in the morning,
Oh no.
in
Oh
the
god.
wee hours. So last year it was catastrophic. This year I was like, okay, look, just I can get it. Basically, I had to wait for the stupid thing to turn on. So that basically was a process that took like for the because of Wi-Fi connectivity and stuff, and it's
Mhm.
awful. So last year was like a whole toner thing. This year is like it's like well, honestly, it wasn't toner. It was like the whole like Google didn't want to cooperate or link up with the printer for some reason. That was last year. So
Oh
I
man, I've been there. I've been there when I've tried to print concert tickets and stuff. I know the feeling.
exactly. So that was
Yeah.
all. I found the workaround for that. Unfortunately, I didn't figure that out until after day one, which I had to still strive to find Ben Edlund again, like last year. That was a whole struggle last year. Anyway, so this year I had that part figured out. The problem was getting the thing to link up, which means you have to restart the printer, which is going to take all night. So I'm going to sleep barely getting any, thinking, oh God, what if it doesn't work? What if the what if the stupid printer doesn't turn on? I'm going to be in that Ben
Oh
Edlund
god.
situation all over again. So I could barely. I have to convince myself, okay, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thankfully, it was fine. Thankfully, it did work out.
Good, good.
If only again, still though, I feel like I ticked off like a gypsy or something in life, where it's always like I just want to try and get the 8 hours of sleep, but there's always something like death by a thousand cuts preventing me from doing so.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, so guest numero uno, big thing, Giancarlo
Oh
Esposito,
boy. Oh boy.
Gus Fring himself. This is the moment that this is a moment where everything changed. This is like in terms of the planning, like it seemed like a pretty lax as far as the media guests go, and it kind of always goes that way. Then they add like the big names last minute, like oh my god, Giancarlo.
Mhm, mhm.
Which again is the equivalent to D'Onofrio all over again. Like months
Essentially,
later, it's
yes, yes.
like oh, again. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? Even more than D'Onofrio, because D'Onofrio, like I knew Kingpin like the back of my hand. That's not that I don't know Gus Fring like the back of my hand, but I want to be
No, but I
clear.
mean, even through Better Call Saul, they've essentially they've made a point to not have us really know all that much about Gus Fring. We just know bits and pieces of him.
But it's also like there's various roles with Giancarlo. I gotta tribute to in the thank you letter. So this was by definition the hardest thank you letter I ever had to write because I have to cover in one page double space, or at least like I guess one and a half space because I need to make room somehow. I
Mhm,
got Better Call Saul. I got Mandalorian. And I got
mhm.
Gen V. Sorry, I got not Gen V. I have the boys with Stan
Uh-huh.
Edgar. So, oh boy, the plus I have to agonize over what to wear on Friday, which is like the last minute struggle, which I usually have that planned out in advance. Like, oh god, okay, so I kind of settle on okay, even though it's gonna maybe contradict things later on, I'm gonna have I wore my Better Call Saul shirt,
Mhm.
you know. I was gonna wear my Better Call Murdoch shirt, but I figured, you know what, I should go full Better Call Saul on this one.
Probably a good call. Probably a good call.
Yeah, because I figured it'd be like a head scratcher for Giancarlo. He's like, I don't know, let's just keep it
Who is
simple.
Matt Murdock?
Yep.
He's
Anyway,
blind. He's Matt Murdock. He's blind Matt Murdock.
yeah. Okay, so I hit the line. So he's the first. So we pile in there. We're going, and we eventually we lead the charge down there. I pretty much run to the far back where all the media
You
guests
rope
are.
drop him essentially.
I mean, I didn't run so much, but I was definitely I was heading there like a rope drop. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So pretty much rope dropped him. Yeah. So I hit seeming again either because of my grandmother's like Friday advice or not. It was like I hit the line just right, or again, not super packed because it's Friday.
Mhm.
The trade off, however, is there is a time crunch because Friday is like it starts later. It's like one to it's basically 1 to 7, but unfortunately. I can't stay as late as I used to because it's not daylight savings quite yet, but we're again, my father has like kind of some health stuff. So basically, because of that, he's kind of a ride. We gotta,
He
we
doesn't
gotta.
like driving in the dark.
He does. It's yeah. Basically, it's not
Yeah,
safe.
I've been there with my grandparents as well. I know how that is.
Point being, 1 to 7 is really like 1 to 5 or 6 ish, like kind of
Right,
like barely
right,
six.
yeah.
So point being, I gotta. So getting what I need to get done. If I'm trying to get everything done on Friday, that's the time crunch I'm working under, which is not a lot of time.
Mhm.
Might be just enough though. But here's what's not helping. Much as I love Giancarlo, I think we all love Giancarlo. He was kind of feeling some Monster Mania energy, and they do be fair. The Baltimore Comic Con media guests do the same thing. They never show up on time. The media guests, which is always a kicker. So we're waiting for Giancarlo for a while. It feels like an hour. I don't know if it was an hour, but it was not. It might have actually been. It was a while. And it's
Mhm.
day one, which is a little unflattering. But again, that's neither here nor there. Giancarlo's got stuff to do, I'm sure. He's getting his 8 hours. The 8 hours I did not get, but he's getting it. That's fine. He earned them.
Right, right.
Anyway, so Giancarlo's there, and he's nice, but he's all business, man, and it made it a little intimidating too. Kind of like D'Onofrio's. He's he's wearing black, but not just is he wearing black. It looks like the scene from Box Cutter when he's changing out of like
Oh God.
you know the protective suit, the protective
Yeah,
like
yeah.
latex suit, and you see that Giancarlo he's in really good shape. And he's all business, and he's signing things. He's being nice, he's being professional, but yeah. So a little bit of that Gus Fring, Stan Edgar intimidation. The man commands respect.
Mhm.
So I saw that he took the thank you letter, and I walked him through the whole card and the Judging Soul podcast.
Oh God.
I didn't give him like the full flow chart or breakdown on it, but I just kind of little throwaway things. As we kind of break down the episodes of Better Call Saul, and I wrote it down there, and he said, he asked follow up questions, so it's in there. So, oh yeah, it's in there. It's in with the letter.
Oh.
So I took a picture with him, and he's doing like the Gus Fring expression in the picture, which is which is cool. And in the casual conversation we're making, he says, "Oh yeah, tell him how much I love the Albuquerque versus. Oh, yeah, you should go down there." It's just like you can throw a pizza on the roof. Says, "Oh no, Jonathan Banks will shoot me if I do that, sir."
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
And he says, "Oh, he's not there."
He's not that.
Yeah, he's not concerned. I don't think Giancarlo got the memo. We want people not to throw pizzas on those poor people's houses anymore.
Yeah, I don't think anyone involved with Breaking Bad besides him, I guess.
I think the owner sold the house because of the pizza stuff.
I'm not surprised.
Anyway, well, we know that house is getting some use now. All right, so next up, so it was really it was driving me nuts. As while I'm waiting for Giancarlo, it was almost the Luke Cage, kind of King. It was kind of the the Mike Coulter, Vincent D'Onofrio table thing where while I'm here, okay, none of the other guests are. There's one guest. I want to highlight this. I'm not trying to put one over the other here. They were in the same movie, but still, uh, the one celebrity who was there, ready with bells on and everything from the opening time is the class act that this man was, Carl Lumbly.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
I was so again before John Carl was announced. I think it might. I don't know if it was they were announced at the same time or not. But Carl Lumbly, I saw. I was like, oh my god, yes, I can't wait to see Carl Lumbly.
Mhm, mhm.
And he's there. It's the whole time. It's like part of me just wants to step out of line, go
I
meet
know,
Carl Lumbly
right?
because Carl Lumbly, poor Carl Lumbly, I really think he might have accidentally priced himself out, but I do. But then again, there was a lot of, Giancarlo, I don't know if he stole a little bit of focus. Michael Biehn was there. I didn't see him, but, he was there. So, yeah, there was some talent. They had some guys from the Harry Potter. I think the Weasley brothers were there.
Oh God, the Weasley brothers I associate more for that stupid cooking show that I told you about. Which, by the way, I'm watching season 2. It's stupid. Turn off your brain comfort food. Anyways,
They had a nice kind of rollout for Harry Potter. Instead of having the car from Supernatural there is like the attraction, they have like the car from Harry Potter. You get stuck in the tree. Remember, you're in the little
yeah,
blue
yeah, yeah.
car.
The flying forward Angelina.
That one, they had that there.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Anyway, so the point being, poor Carl Lumbly, he's there with bells on, and there's no line at all for him. He's got the occasional person walking up to him, but you get the sense that everyone loves him there, though. I
Mhm.
saw Carl Lumbly walk by, like to the Dennis Cowan, who I I saw it later, and like just kind of chatting him up, and it was like really great camaraderie. People love Lumbly, man.
Nice, nice.
So anyway, so again, I was tempted just because he was right there, and there's no line, and it's like
It's
not
just
it's
gonna.
the
It's literally gonna be like me, like waiting for the Donkey Kong roller coaster to open
mm-hmm.
up, and Stardust Racers is like 10 minutes away, Dragon, and it's a walk on, and I could just do it. But if I don't get on Donkey Kong now, there's gonna be a fucking 2 hour long line later. What do I do, Dragon? So yes, I understand the dilemma.
So Carl Lumbly, he was such a delightful experience. I mean, not nobody in line. It was very intimate. Just like I got a Martian Manhunter 8x10. I really wanted. I was really contemplating Isaiah Bradley. The problem is the Isaiah Bradley photos were like really close up. It wasn't really. It wasn't like the big. It wasn't the hug moment or the handshake moment from the end of Falcon Winter Soldier. It wasn't like a really good shot of Isaiah Bradley. So I just went in my gut, like, okay, instinctively I want Martian Manhunter, so I'm just going to go with Martian Manhunter.
That's fair. That's fair.
And basically I even said to him, you're gonna laugh. I even said to him because I was I was torn between the Isaiah Bradley stuff and the Martian Manhunter stuff, and they kind of see this, and it's like I went with the Martian Manhunter. Says, well, they're both great, and I reassure them, I love them both, but I gotta come with you gotta dance with the one that brung you.
Mhm.
That's what I said to him. So we talked. I told him how I love like kind of kind of the headcanon, or it was kind of subtextual, but you can kind of see that Batman and Martian Manhunter did kind of get along in the Justice League show, and they had those moments together. And I think Lumbly kind of saw it that way too, and it kind of highlighted how he kind of respected that Batman kept people at arm's length, which related to his kind of
Mhm.
alienation from people. So he was really good observations. Um, I we talked about. I mentioned. Okay, so I got to ask you. Okay, comfort and joy. I mean, like how many people? I'm sure you're sick of like, what's it like having done comfort and joy? And, he talked about he loved like the sweater bit and comfort and joy,
Oh
where he
yes,
goes,
of
I'll
course, of
grow
course.
into it, with the Kents, and he so every year his kids like make him watch Comfort and Joy, so it was
Oh,
very.
that's sweet. That's sweet.
Yep, and also I told him how meaningful the ending of Falcon and Winter Soldier was, and how thrilled he was to be in Captain America: Brave New World because of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so wonderful. So
Awesome.
that was great. So Lumbly went off without a hitch. That was fantastic. It was a gold standard. All right, so I guess to kind of breeze through a little bit of this here. So the comic talent that was there, the big comic talent for me that was in my next stop was Chip Kidd. So Chip Kidd, he's basically the master of the coffee table, of the pop culture coffee table book. I'm talking like at his table he had a bunch of Peanuts books that he had written. He did historically.
Wait, did he do like all the because I remember they came out with the complete peanut set and it was like different volumes. Did he do that?
It's possible he did. He does a lot of coffee table books, and he does a lot of like with the pop culture related stuff. He's done a lot of Peanuts. He's done a
Okay.
little bit of Fantastic Four. He's the recent thing he's done is like the Fantastic Four first issue blown up. So like each page is like a panel from the comic, so it feels like a full book.
Mhm.
So he's done stuff like that. But I mean, it's possible he's done like a lot of like the history of the Peanuts kind of coffee table books. So
Right.
he's
Gotcha. Gotcha.
so the
Okay.
reason Chip Kidd will always the big thing, that is something very special I want him to sign. I have one of my most prized books that I have on my shelf is the essentially it's what would now be like an art of book, but it's a coffee table book that was about Batman the animated series before there was anything else on Batman the
Mhm.
animated series.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
So I
Oh,
had him sign, like he and Paul Dini wrote that book. So I got Chip Kidd to sign it, and even mentioned me. I had no idea about it. It makes sense though. They apparently, he was really wowed to see it. You should take care of that because it's out of print. Like there was like
well,
no,
yeah, dude. That shit's got to be worth some money.
yeah, that's the thing. So I know it's not worth crazy money, but it is worth a little bit of money. Yeah. So the point it's a treasured possession, but yeah, it
Totally.
was.
Totally. Nice.
So I was glad to have that signed. It was very special, and I talked to him a little bit about Dini. And like, do you ever see Dini anymore these days? Oh yeah, he and his wife Misty and all that.
Mhm.
Though again, the man lives and breathes comics and pop culture, and it shows. And the Chip Kid's a class. I had him sign like the Death by Designs book that I had as well. So I like. love his stuff. Like the problem is, you ever get stuff signed by Chipkin, most of it's going to be like really heavy coffee table books. So you got to be really selective. So it was also
Right, right.
there was, let's just say,
You
there
need
was
to
some
plug
research
it
and
around the rest of the day.
there was research and development that went into, okay, how can I transport the Batman the animated series coffee table book safely so it doesn't get banged up. There was a lot of
Right, right, yeah.
I needed the roller bag for that day. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so Dennis Cowan. So I was really thrilled to meet him because he's the man behind Milestone Comics and the creator of Static from Static Shock.
Nice, nice.
So he was, was really. I told him I loved, that the testimonial to Milestone Comics they did in Robert Kirkman's Secret History of Comics little docu series thing.
Mhm.
So it was neat. I met the Superman '78 comic team, Robert Venditti and Wilfredo Torres. I met Venditti beforehand. He pretty much signed my stuff. I had like one or two spots to kind of have him filled there. But the artist, Wilfredo Torres, and again, Superman '78 comic essentially is the kind of the comic continuation of Christopher Reeve Donner
Yeah, I
Superman.
remember
Like,
that, yeah.
yeah, that's good. Also, while I was in line for Dennis Cowan, there was this girl who was dressed like the Question. I thought that was awesome because Dennis Cowan had drawn the Question. I was like
Mhm.
telling her, "Oh my god, I'm in love with your costume, man. This is fantastic. You look awesome." We geeked out a little bit about the whole the Watchmen Question connectivity, how the Question that begets Rorschach and vice versa.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. Well, I was looking around as you pointing you to the main image we have here to the bottom right corner. Sorry, the bottom left corner. You have these macrame kind of knitted Marvel Netflix
Yes,
characters. You have
yes.
we have Daredevil, Punisher, and Jessica Jones, and
Mhm.
so Tangled Penny is the creator who does those things, and they're fantastic. And I kind of desperately would love to buy one of those. The problem is because they're all custom jobs, custom made, imposable armatures. They're very pricey. Like we're talking
Mm.
like Daredevil's like roughly $400. That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
much. Even like a quality Deadpool, it's $150 for a little cutesy macrame. It's like more, I would get it on a whim, but it's like I can't put down that kind of money as much as I would love one of those guys.
Right, right, right,
But I just
yeah.
want to appreciate them. Every year I go down the Tangled Pennies booth, even though I can't afford it. I just want to look at how cool these little guys are and how cute they are. It's like you can see if you look, it's Daredevil holding a taco.
Mhm.
Anyway, let's see. So Dave Madden, I was really thrilled to meet Dave Madden because he is some animated series town. So Dave Madden was one of the artists from the Batman the Animated Series Adventure comics, the Batman Adventures comics, which to me and still to this day I would say were comics so good. They were tie-in comics to the animated series, but they felt worthy of being tie-in comics to the animated series, like stuff that feels like you're getting episodes of Batman the Animated Series on the page. And yeah, he and I geeked out a bit. He told him how much I love the Mask of the Phantasm sequel that was in comic form that he and Dini worked on. He also did some Ra's al Ghul issues, which again, me and my love for Ra's al Ghul. So it was, yeah, he was really nice.
Nice, nice.
I know a lot of this is boiling down to they were nice or so on and so forth, but just Dave Mann, anyway. So I guess we're running down again. It's almost done with this one. So Paul Pope. I was nearing the end of the line. I got sorry. Basically, Paul Pope was a never-ending line. This guy had like a huge line. Paul Pope was more of like someone on a whim. This was more the completionist in me. And I like Paul Pope, but Paul Pope basically did Batman Year 100, which is kind of this offshoot Elseworlds Batman story. And it's interesting,
Is
but
he kind of like a newer artist?
no, this is like an old book. So he's
Oh,
it's
okay,
a.
okay.
It was more of like how many opportunities am I ever going to have to see Paul Pope again? So I was figured, okay, I might as well get this signed by him.
So he
But
doesn't make that many appearances. That's why the line
no,
is long.
exactly. That's what it really
Gotcha,
felt like.
gotcha.
Like Paul Pope is kind of he's not retired, but is very much like Pope is kind of he's outside the DC Marvel scene. Let's say usually DC. He really hasn't done DC in a long time. He kind of gave us a little bit of an insight that he might be returning to Batman. He can't confirm nor deny anything, but he might be, which is kind of interesting given how people loved Batman Year 100 when it came out. So it's kind of a big deal if this guy comes back, and he's an artsy sort. This Paul Pope, like long hair. He's got he's led an exciting life. It feels like very
Almost kind of sounds like Joe Rody a little bit.
very much kind of a Joe Rody vibe. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Okay, so okay, last one before we just kind of sum up the day here. So Tom King. Tom King's kind of an annual one. He's usually reliably there. Basically,
Much
Tom King.
literally the voice of Cartoon Network when we were consuming it.
What?
Did you say Tom King?
Yeah, Tom King, not Tom Kenny.
No, I'm saying. Am I thinking Tom Kane?
Yeah, you're thinking Tom Kane with an A.
Oh, my bad. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There's a Tom King.
Don't let me derail you. I do love me some Tom Kane. I was actually
No,
just
we all love Tom King.
well, I was just going into. I was actually kind of watching some old Cartoon Network recently, so the man's kind of been on the mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who is
So,
Tom King?
all right, so Tom King is this essentially he's a very prolific writer that DC has. He's written a lot of really good stuff. I guess he's really important right now because he is James Gunn's been consulting with Tom King because Tom King is doing the Mr. Miracle animated show, which is based off his book. So Tom King, to give you a breakdown, he he did his run on Batman, which was pretty good, which basically made Kite Man cool again, which is why we have the Kite Man show.
Mm-hmm.
He did like a lot of one-offs for characters that won a lot of awards and got a lot of buzz and basically ended up being adapted in media where he did the Vision comic which basically turned into WandaVision. No, you don't have WandaVision without what he did on the Visions. And then you have Mr. Miracle, the comic, which now is getting us the Mr. Miracle animated show. He did a Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is now what we're getting with the Supergirl movies. That's the Supergirl that we're getting, and James Gunn's, DCU is based on his Supergirl.
Nice.
So I basically brought like three heavy hardcover books I wanted in the sign. So I was paranoid. Okay, I want to get Tom King in so I don't have to lug these things around for the next 2 days. Please and Tom King usually has a line. And I hit it just right, towards the end of the day, it's like, okay, thank God, it'll be the last one of the day. I asked him at the Mr. Miracle show, and he intimated that I asked him, like, so is there anything you can tell me? Like, is it going to be in the DCU or not? Do you know even? And he says, like, I can't say, but he intimated that there is an answer and that it wasn't a flat out no, which implies to me it is in the DCU, but there might be, I don't know, multiversal thing going on. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So, but the Tom King's always
Kind of
nice.
like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man status almost.
It sounds like it from the way he's talking about, but we'll see there. But it wasn't a flat out no, which tells me there's something there. Yeah, so Tom King, he was really flattered. He remembered me like from the past years in which I've seen him. That was really cool of him.
Nice.
So takeaway for day one, the bridge into day two here is I got all the big. Thankfully I got all the big stuff out of the way. I did miss some of my media guests though, which that adds, and one of the big guys, Adam Kubert, who I had to move to the next day. So I pretty much got all the heavy stuff done though. So that's something though. So I'm going to be traveling light. So the first time
So
ever,
you got all the physically heavy stuff done, but you still have some like heavy hitters to
yes,
go when
that
it
is
comes
that.
to crowds.
That is accurate, my funny friend. Yes.
My funny friend and me.
Yep. So Tiki, this is a milestone for me though. This is the first time ever I didn't have to lug around the roller bag on day two.
Awesome.
I kind of achieved the impossible here for the most part. I basically, for the rest of the con, I didn't have to bring the roller bag, and Saturday's the longest day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was working, but I wasn't out of the woods yet.
Okay.
That brings us to Saturday.
All right. Day two.
So it's the early day. I'm fueled by Dunkin' Donuts. I am. The things are. I'm on the ball because again I have. Sorry. Anyways, the point. Sorry. I'm fueled by Dunkin' Donuts in the morning here. I'm on the ball because I had like two. I had some big people to see. I had two panels. I had to be on the ball, so I needed to be fueled up appropriately. It's not why I got donuts because I get donuts every Saturday, but still. I'll tell you this, I was dressed for X-Men today because the big media guests, and these guys were announced very, very last minute. So this complicated everything in my planning, by the way. Okay, the inclusion of these guys through every plan made things really difficult for me.
Okay.
The X-Men, the animated series casts were added.
Oh, like, boy. All of them?
Like, well, 4 of them.
Okay.
So not everyone, but like 4 of them, and like the 3 of them were on my radar of the 4. So it was like, oh god. So I'm preparing for like Giancarlo and Carl Lumbly, and I'm gonna tell you this, without throwing Giancarlo under the bus, Giancarlo by far the most expensive. And
I'm not surprised. I'm not
yeah, so
surprised.
Giancarlo was very expensive. So here's the thing with
I mean,
inflation.
Giancarlo is a big bad businessman after all, Dragon.
Well, yeah. So with the inflation and with just like the pricing and everything, let's just say this is the most expensive Comic Con year ever. And I had to be really choosy, and I had to, there was I had to pay out of pocket a lot on this one.
Uh-huh.
So on Giancarlo and Carl Lumbly alone was already something. But then adding at the last minute, like I had things perfectly planned out with those two guys, and then like it's like a week or two before the convention, like, hey, the X-Men cast are gonna be like, oh no, I mean, yay, but oh no, oh
Right,
god,
right, right.
like this is really good. But by the same token, oh my poor wallet, oh, I can't sit right now, oh god. Anyway, so anyway, so here's where you're gonna be on the edge of your seat, Tiki. So there was a big problem with Saturday beyond just like the stress of like, okay, we're doing the X-Men, we're gonna get this right, darn it.
Uh-huh.
Getting to the convention on Saturday. So the curse of Baltimore Comic Con every year is it's never just the con. It's never just like, hey, let's just advertise we're having a convention on these 3 days. Pretty simple. No, usually it's like the convention's going on, and then on Sunday or Saturday, usually Sunday, there's a sports game of some kind. If
Oh
anything
God.
reminds me how much I hate sports, it's during the convention because it's always cause it's in the heart of the city, like right next to like where the stadium is for like the Orioles or for like the Ravens or somebody, a football team's playing, a baseball team's playing, depending on
Yeah.
what time of year the convention is. And initially I was like, hey, we lucked out. There's no games going on. There's nothing's like playing from home this year. Isn't that great? But this year there was on Saturday, only Saturday, there was a stupid marathon going on.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh
Okay, and
no.
this isn't
That
just
sounds even worse.
Tiki. It is worse. I'm going to tell you how worse. Okay, so a game impacts the exit traffic. Okay, that's
Mhm,
when you're
mhm.
going home. You're going to be there like till the crack of dawn. That's when a sport because when the game lets out, that's why you want to leave early on a convention day on Sunday when they have a game going on. Okay, that's a Sunday problem. But again, we don't have to worry about this year. A marathon complicates things in a variety of ways because when you go to the website for the convention, it says like, "Hey, there's a reminder. There's a marathon going on. Here are your directions to get there." Because it's like it's not just blocking. It's not just going to be like crowded or like backed up a little. Streets are going to be blocked off for the
Right, right, right.
runners. That's bad, Tiki. And again, for the thing, we know how to get to the convention one way, and it's an area we don't go too often. So you have to look at this map, and then a lot of it is just I'm on the edge of my seat, like white knuckling it, like hoping to God, like I'm sure we're gonna have to walk out. The best case scenario is like we can get out at the light and just walk straight to the center without having to like turn down a certain road. That is the optimistic hope. That optimistic hope was folly, my friend. It was folly.
Oh God.
It was a very tense drive, and we get to a red light, and we're very close. We're closer than we thought we get. Initially, it was looking a little dicey. We had to go down like a side street to then get back onto the main road, and we're there. And it's like, okay, things are looking not so bad. There's a little bit of traffic. We're getting pretty much like to like the main road that if you were to take a left, you'd be there, and that's great. And we're like maybe like a block or two away from that point, that turn.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're like those 2 blocks away, like in the main road. Everyone's coming down, and there's a red light,
Oh God.
and it turns into New York traffic. Essentially, we're gridlocked.
Right, right, right.
As in, and then you have the paranoia, Tiki, the paranoia that confounds me, the paranoia that is like, how long do we get it before we get out and start running?
Yes, 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 yes.
And
Oh,
it's like,
no.
okay, because you're thinking it's like 2 blocks away, and like my father's like, he's dropping us off. He's like, okay, let me get you a little closer, and that's reasonable. Like, I got all the major stuff kind of done. I mean, admittedly, the X-Men is my main concern this day, and I also have 2 panels. So, but again, the X-Men being I'm convinced that the X-Men being having the cachet that they have, it's X-Men, it's a comic convention, and it's like 4 really popular names from the X-Men. You would imagine there would be huge lines for them. That is the feared element of today for me.
Mhm.
So that's why I want to get there on time or at a decent time. And it's like, okay, so 15 minutes are going by. It's like, okay, crap, let's just get out. Let's just book it. And we were right to do so because things weren't. As we got out, and we started the 100-mile dash here amidst the runners. we we saw why traffic had stopped because apparently this thing was so mismanaged. The city does terrible planning for these events, as you've probably determined at this juncture. Okay, the reason people were stopped at this point, but they were moving earlier, because you're wondering why have we not moved at all, like not an inch.
Right,
It's
right.
because sporadically they're stopping traffic for runners to run by. So if there's like a big space between the runners who have like signed up for the marathon to run, it's like, okay, there's a big gap, we're going to let cars through. Nope, continuous people walking by, we're going to stop the cars. So that's why we were stopped. So then we get there, we need to cross the street, but there's a bunch of runners. How do you
Oh
cross the
no,
street?
Jesus
It's the
Christ.
paranoia of like, okay, I mean, you have to wait for there's like a little bit of a gap so you can like run across the running people, the running
Right,
mob.
right. It's
It's
like trying to cross a parade route at a theme park, essentially.
it's like I'm trying. It's like imagine you're in. Remember that screening of the what is it the long walk? You're that screening of the long walk with
Yes,
people
yes,
on the
yes,
treadmills.
yes.
Imagine you're trying to walk through those people amongst those treadmills. It's like you're completely disturbing. You're ruining the illusion. You don't break the illusion.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that. So you have to. So there's that, and it's a pretty long hike. It's like 2 blocks, but again, it's not the end of the world. But still, I'm trying to get there in even pace. So there was that. So that was not an auspicious way to start the morning. The line had gotten a little longer because of how long it took. But I took solace in the fact that we weren't the only ones having traffic. So
Mhm,
at
mhm.
least other people would be delayed too. Okay, so after all that, we're finally on the convention floor. First up, the X-Men cast. So I'm seeing 3 of the 4 X-Men cast. Essentially, with the voice actors, I had to pick the must sees. I had to start there first. So again, was expecting massive line. They were in the middle, like plus they weren't even back with the rest of the celebrities. They were like in the heart of the convention, like in the middle of it, on the way to the celebrities. So I'm thinking, oh god, it's gonna be like the traffic, but indoors on feet. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be like.
Right,
That's
right.
what I was expecting. But to my shock, Tiki, to my utter gobsmackment, nada, not a soul.
Was it a walk-on?
I'm saying, like people were sitting there. There was no line at all.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And it was
Like
Saturday, man.
all that stress in the
Yes,
car.
but stress in the car and like the whole thing, like, oh, I didn't get him in on Friday. This is like,
Uh-huh,
my grandmother warned me, like, you should try and get them all on Friday. It's like,
Like you probably had that thing where like you're leaving the con on Friday and you
yeah,
have your grandmother like playing in your head
a
like
little bit.
you should see all the famous people on
I
Friday.
tried. Gus Fring, Gus Fring doomed me. He took a box cutter to my perfectly laid plans. Anyway, but to my amazement, on Saturday, Ghost Town, and again, I suspect, again, could have been we just hit it right, seeing them first in the day. I mean, there might have been like a person, like a singular person, maybe at
Mhm.
each, but that was about it. And I really think, honestly, I think they priced themselves out of it because it was expensive to see these people. That's what I think it was. That's what I think is cutting down on the business. I think it's biting them in the. I think it's biting them in the butts right now.
Seems to be the running theme for this year.
Anyway, so
Hopefully, it's
first
something
up,
that they remedy going forward. You know, just not. I know that the con itself has no control over it, but hopefully, like industry wide, the agents kind of start to get smart to that.
because you got to remember the agents get greedy. It's not the so. I want to
Right.
be clear. It's not. I
Right.
don't. I could be wrong. Maybe it is the celebrities. I would optimistically, half glass half full, would like to think the celebrities essentially the way I heard it worked once was that they get put up or flown to the hotels near the convention. They get invited to the conventions, but any money that they make is basically what they get at the tables. To my
Mhm.
understanding, that's what their payment is. Like they're not paid to go there; they're paid to like they're getting put up there to draw a crowd. Anyway, also probably renting the table space, which is what's cutting into the agent's profits, which is why they're saying, well, that guy's charging this much, you should charge this much, do it now. That
Sure.
kind of thing.
Sure.
All right, so first and foremost, if I had to see one of the X-Men, It was Allison Court, not for the reason you think. So Allison Court is Jubilee from the X-Men, the original Jubilee. So the reason I wanted to see Allison Court was not specifically because of Jubilee, but it was because of her other role. And you're going to appreciate this, Tiki. It's a very nostalgic role.
Okay.
Lunette from The Big Comfy Couch.
Oh man,
It's the clown girl. The clown girl from The Big Comfy Couch. You know, the whole, and the cow jumped over the moon. That one.
Oh God.
I was like, it was again, when I heard that she was going to be there, I realized, oh my God, she was, I did a little cursory research. Oh my God, it's her from The Big Comfy Couch. Yes. Oh my God. So if I had to prioritize one X-Men, was like, I'm not even a huge Jubilee guy. I like Jubilee, but I'm not ride or die for Jubilee, but I kind of wanted to see her desperately for The Big Comfy Couch. That made her priority one with the X-Men. And, she's very nice. In the picture,
Little Blue also said she was one of the 2 farm kids and followed that bird.
That's very true. Yes, she was. Also, I think she's like Claire from Resident Evil. If anyone watches that or plays that. Anyway, so she's wearing she and the other X-Men. They're pretty much wearing their special X-Men jackets. Where some of them were like kind of, I don't know if they're wrap gifts or not, but like from the production, they have like their names and their characters on them, which are really neat. So she's wearing that, and I told her how much I love The Big Comfy Couch. I think she was a little charmed by it. Maybe I'm sure other people have kind of come up to her like on Friday and probably told her the same thing. But she was very nice about it. She even had like the little red nose. So in the photo, she put on the red. She put on the red nose, and she also at the table. And I clocked this when I walked by her table when she wasn't there on Friday. She had Molly, the little puppet, the doll that was on the couch with her. So I asked like, hey, can we get Molly in the picture? So I'm holding Molly. Well,
I mean that is cool because it's like you assume that with it being a comic convention, it's like everyone's going to be there for Jubilee, but it's good foresight to think that there is definitely going to be a select group of people that is going to know me for this as well.
Yeah, so it was a great nostalgic throwback, my friend. I tell you, just like getting to sit there with the girl from The Big Comfy Couch, man, it was awesome. So there was her, and then next up was logically it was Cal Dodd, the voice of Wolverine. Nice. I think the one time in life Wolverine would take a backseat.
Right.
So you got to remember, Cal Dodd, you have the original Wolverine, man. I mean, without this man, Hugh Jackman does not have a job. Cal Dodd put in the hard work, man. Man's getting a little up there. I won't lie to you. I remember this was a thing. It was an unwarranted concern, but it was a concern when they were doing X-Men '97, where it was the whole thing. They had to make this. To me, felt insulting on their behalf, and I think they kind of felt that way too. Cal Dodd and the voice of Rogue, Lenore Zahn, they had to audition for their roles again to make sure they didn't sound too much older than they classically did, which But Cal Dodd, he's a little hard of hearing. That is a reality though. But he's really nice though. He even gave out free Wolverine stickers, which was really nice of him. So he was. Here's something really awesome. Okay, as much as again, I'm not trying to throw shade here because again, I think it's the agents pushing this and a lot of the other media guests and all the people in the media guest section way back. They charge for quotes now. It's like used to be a thing where they would kind of like throw in like a quote for you on the thing. It'd be kind of nice, and they used to do this in previous years. But now it's like a thing they charge extra for. The X-Men, they did it without. Not a search, no extra charge, nothing. They just did it for the, hey, would you like it? They asked, like, hey, would you like a quote? Like, yeah, would I? Yes, thank you.
Nice.
I said, oh my God, that'd be great. Thank you. It's like Jubilee, we had the Jubilee quote on Allison Court's picture. It said, like, there's a mall baby chili fries. Cal Dodd, he put the egg sucking piece of gutter trash on there. But just again, just very wonderful. And he shared this really lovely story about Steve Blum because I asked because, to me, my Wolverine is kind of Steve Blum. I love Steve Blum's take on Wolverine. And I really, I wondered like, hey, do you ever watch the Wolverine, the X-Men, any of the other Wolverines beyond Hugh Jackman, obviously. And he said, "Well, no, not really, but I did run into Steve Blum once, and there's a story where basically he has the claws with him. So if you did a photo with him, you get to wear the Wolverine claws alongside him. So he has like this pair of Wolverine claws. He takes to all the conventions with him. So he was basically there, and he was looking very menacingly at Steve Blum with the Wolverine claws, and actually kind of jump scared him. And it was just hilarious that just the two of them were." Like Steve Blum like was bowing to him and everything. It was adorable story. So I loved him telling me that story. That was great. All right, so I was on a bit of a time crunch because I was trying to hit a panel, but I think, okay, am I gonna really walk out of here without seeing Lenore Zahn, without seeing Rogue? Because Rogue was the big three. I had to see Rogue, but do I really want to have to worry about stressing about time wise? Like having to go all the way back and everything, and trying to worry about, okay, maybe lightning is struck and I hit him without a crowd, but what if there's a line later on? I'm still paranoid about the line around the X event at this point.
Right.
So I said, what, I'm just going to go for it. Be foolish not to go for it. So I see Lenore's on, and she's literally wearing the Rogue jacket, man. She had like a replica of like Rogue's jacket on.
Nice.
So I went for it. She was lovely. She and I geeked out about the Rogue's appearance on Spider-Man, the animated series, like we talked about. She was being all flirtatious towards Spider-Man. It was really cute. Yeah.
Cool.
So I run to a panel, Tiki, and I usually, traditionally, in recent years, to make room for all the stuff I want to do, I usually don't take in panels, but these were panels that I had to make
Yeah,
an
I was kind of
exception
surprised
for.
when you mentioned the panels because I remember you, and you know me, Dragon. Like, if I were to go to a con, I think panels for me personally would probably be like a bigger priority because I don't have like the collectible got to get this stuff signed urgency that you do.
Yeah. But
For me, it's more about just being in the same room as famous people. That's the appeal.
So this year I had to make an exception because these were panels I really had to get in, and based on certain interactions, I felt like I was kind of lacking something. I had to make it. I had to kind of plus it a little bit here. So I ran. I literally had to, because I was enjoying the company of Lenore Zahn. I really had to book it. I actually had to run to.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, no roller bag though, so it was the easiest run. But but again, you gotta remember there was some wear and tear, leg wise across these con days, but made a lot less worse now that I don't have to lug a heavy bag behind me. I ran to Giancarlo Esposito's panel,
Oh
which
God.
is like, think about it, you're going from the bottom floor of this building to, I have to go all the way to the top to like the ballroom, and like not a lot of time. It was exhausting, but I get there, and I got to see Giancarlo hold court, man, and Tiki. The man held court. He was electric. He came alive a lot more
Forget
than he
about
was.
Saul Goodman being the best lawyer on that show.
Like Giancarlo's coming. Oh, to be 19 again. No. But that's the thing. That he came alive a lot more than the experience I had at the table. That's not. I'm not poo-pooing the experience of the table.
I
He
mean,
was nice.
a lot of people are just better in front of crowds than they are one on one.
So that's the thing. So seeing him in the crowd, he was holding court. He was so adorable with this moderator. It was like this lady who's like the moderator for all the celebrity panels, and essentially, he's telling a story. And Giancarlo is so cute, man. He's so animated when he tells this. He's going through his career and his life story, and he's like, when he laughs, like the whole crowd's laughing. When he's like, getting all jovial with like the moderator lady. It's like it's very charming.
Mm-hmm.
Very bon vivant esque. He's very Oscar Schindler esque. I'll tell you. Like that's Oscar Schindler.
Yes.
So like there's he's actually going into this one story about a Brave New World where apparently the reshoots. You kind of mentioned that it's, oh God, did they not like me? Did I do something wrong? He's like, no, Giancarlo, we've tested the film and they want more Giancarlo. We want to put more scenes of you in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently he was just in the opening of that movie, and then they liked him. The screenings liked him so much they brought him back. So anyway, here's what I was lacking. I was like, I don't know if I was maybe a little starstruck. I was kind of bare minimum at the table with him, so I had to give him a good question. So I got him at the Q&A, and I asked him a question you and I have been wondering for the longest time. I asked Giancarlo, basically I asked him, like, were there any plans, like, what's your character backstory on Gus Fring, on like Chilean national aspect of Gus Fring? That's the one thing we never got into in Better Call Saul. what this whole Chilean national backstory is. And essentially, what John Carlos said was, you know, Gus, he went to hang his own shingle, not unlike Howard Hamlin. He went to hang his what Howard Hamlin wanted to do. He wanted to hang his own shingle, where basically he was the son of he came from a military family, and he wanted to break away from that lifestyle. He wanted to break away from that and the silver spoon that was in his mouth, which is why Don Eladio looked down at him for being a Chilean national. He was like this rich kid from
Mhm.
from there, and that's and he was breaking, kind of encroaching on his territory, and that's kind of where things went. And he kind of alluded to, he didn't really spell it out, but he alluded to when Walt was at his house and they were doing the Chilean dish.
Mhm.
There was like the photos and everything, and he was expecting Gus's family too. It wasn't just us, Tiki. He was expecting a Gus Fring family,
Right. Yeah,
but
yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
got stripped out at the last minute. It seems.
Like a vaguely Michelle Obama looking wife or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But remember, there were. If you look really carefully, it looks like they're like kids' toys, and they're like three
Uh-huh.
might have had
Uh-huh.
children. Kind of got scrapped though, but there were discussions, and we weren't far off. So we got confirmation from the horse's mouth there on that one.
Right.
Okay. So the Charm City Ghostbusters, as you can see by the top right corner here, we have Slimer. These guys. I love the Charm City Ghostbusters. These guys, it's like the Ghost Heads. These guys do a lot of charity work, but in the name of the Ghostbusters. They had a really nice setup this year. It kind of gets better every year. It's the second year they've been there. They had like a whole firehouse set up where you had like a lot of photo ops and interactive exhibits. Like you could talk to the mood slime from Ghostbusters 2. You could shut down the containment field. There's like the painting of Vigo. It was awesome.
Nice, nice.
So they kind of shout out some, we had like a whole photo thing too. My mother and I, we got in like a photo where we're busting a ghost. It's kind of, it's kind of neat. Let's see, we did I saw some cosplays while I was there, like Jonah Hex. One of the images you see here, we have the James Gunn Supergirl. You have the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and we have we have Iron Man. This Iron Man had a voice activated, like it says Jarvis mask down. He can put the mask up and down, voice activated. Tell me that's not cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Saw Marty McFly. Saw a Spider-Man Noir, who was appropriately put next to the namesake there.
Hmm.
And I think the one that impressed me most, I actually had a bit of a moment with. I was kind of after the Giancarlo panel. I kind of said, "Oh my god, Yusuke Urameshi!" It was a guy dressed as Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. He was wearing
Right,
the
right,
green
right. Nice,
schoolboy
nice.
outfit and everything. He was impressed that I recognized him. It was like we did the spirit bomb finger guns and like a photo. It was really neat. Let's see. So the one this was the this was a successful yet somewhat successful thing I had for all 3 days. So Mark Wade was there. And Mark Wade is, he's like one of the few people left that like offers like free books to get signed, but it's like one limit per person. So I had to hit him all 3 days. Unfortunately, I didn't get him Friday, so I had to kind of come up with kind of a solution out of left field on that one. But point being, Saturday, I was able to see him. I got like my 2 books signed between myself and my mother. There's like getting a book signed for me as well. All the money beyond that kind of went to the Hero Initiative, so that's kind of where I picked that up on Sunday. I even pointed out to him like, hey, you dropped $20 because I saw he had like $20 on the floor. I was in line. He was never going to find it, so I kind of said I made the man $20.
Nice, nice.
I've told him how much I love the new Alex Ross documentary about Kingdom Come. There's
Hmm.
I got Adam Kubert in there. He was the longest line of the day, which I got in early just to make sure that I got him in there. So again, it was like less to worry about Sunday. So Sunday could be purely a shopping day. Speaking of shopping, the other panel, something I haven't done in years. I took in a movie, Tiki. This is the second time I think there's ever been a screening at the convention since I've been there. There was a documentary called Shopping for Superman, which is what's in the top of the image there. So that is from
Okay.
the screening, and that is the director who is screening his own documentary.
Did you talk about this on Memoirs?
Yes, I did, and this is
Yeah, I
how I saw it.
remember. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
cool, cool.
Saw the screening for it there. I wish I could have stayed for the Q&A, but again, this was like a thing where everything had to go right today because this thing was going to take like an hour and a half out of the day.
Right,
And it
right.
was like towards the end of the day when I had to get out of there. So I had to. So I had to book it from the Q&A, unfortunately, but it was again, it was a good documentary.
I remember when I went to the San Diego Comic Con Museum in Balboa Park, they had a screening room for the Stan Lee documentary. I don't think they were doing it the day I was there, but that was something that they were offering. I thought that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm going to mention this. Here's where I'm going to rant against the helper people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the reason I missed Mark Waid on Friday was they had a bunch of names and they had a few different shirt colors, so I can't necessarily call it a color, but they had a really ironic, stupid name on the back of the shirts this year. So
Okay.
usually it says Minion. This year it said Super Soldier. So I would call these guys the yeah rights. Yeah, like yeah right, Super Soldier. Yeah, sure.
Oh God.
It's like Super Soldier in quotes. Yeah, like the fact that this lady says like, oh yeah, he'll be back. Basically, so I'm told Mark Wade's gonna be back at a certain time, and I show up there like a few minutes before that certain time. Mark Wade's there. I'm like, okay, fine. So he's there. I'm getting in line. Line doesn't seem that bad. But there's a lady with one of these helper ladies, one of these helper people, with a sign that says like, oh, he's been capped. What, you told me to come back at this time? He's capped already? How is
Oh
he
God.
capped already?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
God, they're not like the cool guy who, by the way, was he was at this convention too. The guy who remembered me from the Monster Mania,
Uh-huh.
he was in the celeb back manning the celeb tent. So it was like, hey, and he recognized me when I was there. He's like, oh yeah, you from the Monster Mania, yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
I patched things up with the Spider-Man cosplayer from years back, by the way. So I bumped into here very serendipitously when I returned.
Oh, was that the guy that kind of ghosted
Yeah,
you a little
that
bit?
guy. Yeah, so he and I we mended fences a bit. It's kind of like an arm's length kind of thing. But so he and we text and stuff. The point being, I kind of bumped into him serendipitously. I knew he was going to be there, but I kind of on Tiki. It's like the stars aligning kind of a thing where I'm walking back from the screening and like, oh hey, we just kind of bumped into each other.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a law of averages sort of thing. Let's see. So on the way back as well, you'll notice the image next to Slimer there. I saw Deadpool from Deadpool 2 wearing the X-Men jersey, wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, flipping off Blade the Vampire, who was trying to shoot him. It was like this really great photo op of like Blade like pointing a gun at him.
Nice, nice.
Like Deadpool was flipping him off. It was really, really neat. There were some other, kind of pictures on the way out of the convention, like Spider-Man, a Daredevil in the Born Again suit, which was neat. But lastly, and this is why Jacob's here in the comments. So lastly, for this day, I saw somebody. I saw almost this, not despite Jacob, but just kind of an inspiration by Jacob. Vincent Martella, the voice of Phineas from Phineas and Ferb.
Ooh, nice, nice. I
Yes.
thought you were
So
going to say Dan and Swampy at first.
no.
Monkey went to something that they were at. It wasn't like an event, but it was like, I think it was Puppet Up.
Yeah.
Brian Henson's like puppet
Yeah.
improv show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Monkey was at the show that Dan and Swampy were at.
Nice.
Anyways.
So Vincent Martell, I knew he was going to be there. He was announced like before the X-Men cast was like still like, oh man, more temptation. I kind of settled on just seeing Vincent Martella, and it was like, okay, look, he's like, plus in the connectivity of Vince Martella's beyond, Phineas. He was also Jason Todd in Under the Red Hood.
Well, there you go.
So I walked up, I got something signed by him, and I just met him and I told him all about the podcast and everything. He was very nice. I tried getting him to. I asked. He was very nice about it, and I said, "Look, I understand completely if you can't, but I was wondering, do you think you could say gritty reboot time for me in the Phineas, in the Phineas voice? I was going to record it and maybe use it for the podcast." He very respectfully, and I knew it was a long shot even because he didn't list it with his prices that it would be a voice recording cost, and that wasn't what the problem was. The problem was like Disney is very stringent about like if he does the Phineas voice on
That makes a
unsanctioned.
lot of sense, honestly. That makes a lot of sense. If it was a different company other than Disney, it would probably be a different story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was, but you know what? Actually, I heard not even just Disney, but even Nickelodeon. Like for example, Tom Kenny, he got in big trouble one time. Apparently, he almost got fired because he did this SNL sketch for SpongeBob. It was like an animated thing where it was like SpongeBob in a very inappropriate joke, and he did the voice for him. But he almost, I heard the word on the streets, he almost got fired over it. But it was like it was bad.
Oh,
I
jeez.
can't repeat what the joke is here.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
just
I
say it
mean,
was.
I absolutely no like absolutely no ill will for not doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. It
that
was.
makes sense.
It was a very, I want to say the actual look in context it was tame, but like out of context it's like headline worthy. It was like, oh boy, that's yeah, that's
Uh huh.
so thank goodness nothing, he walked away unscathed from that. But because of that kind of thing, that's why they have to be careful about it. But seriously, Vince Martella, I even noticed this while I was with Carl Lumbly because eventually Martella showed up and he was right next to him. I heard somebody ask like for a quote, and they told him like, "Well, there's a bit of an upcharge," but he said it in a very nice way. So you have to respect it. This guy really does care about the fans, though, and I
Yeah,
was
nice,
really
nice.
they're receptive to that. And I just again, he was so he was really cool. So I always promised like if I had time to see him, which I did, I would see Vince Martella. I mean, not one just because Phineas and Ferb has been a thing Jacob and I've kind of bonded over. It's been a whole thing. And I really wanted to, and I'd grown a great appreciation for the show. And again, the Batman Connect kind of sweetened the deal, but it's also just in part of like I'm tired of Jacob just lording over all the GalaxyCon people that he's seen. I just wanted just one that he
Right,
hasn't seen,
right.
just one,
Just a little bit of spite there, just a little
a
bit.
little bit, just a dash of spite. Okay, so that brings us to Sunday.
Alrighty, give me 1 second. Okay, day 3.
Yeah. Apparently, it was all for nothing too, because apparently Jacob has seen both of them. So yeah,
Oh God.
I forgot about that part. I remember seriously a lot of times Jacob will say he.
Useless spite.
Well, still, I wanted to see it regardless. I wanted to see him regardless. So.
All right, so day 3.
Day 3. Okay, so Sunday again. Things have gone unprecedentedly smoothly up to this point because of the again rising cost and also paring things down to the bare essentials because of the rising cost. So things have gone. This was the breeziest final day. This is like almost like the days of old, Tiki, like the days of old, where my first time going to a convention where I had nothing. I just walk in, that kind of thing.
Right, right.
So it was a breezy final day. There was a great kind of sense of relief because I
We're gonna
crossed
pull
all
the images that you have here.
yeah, we're getting ready to do that.
Okay.
That'll be this day because it's the shopping day. So
Sure, sure.
yep. Anyway, yeah. So basically, the only priority I had was like trying to hit Mark Wade again, so I get like the 3 days. Thanks to that stupid, in quotes, super soldier, that screwed me over on Friday. I had to, kind of iron that out. So that was like the one. That and I had one panel left. So those are the only two vague priorities that I had. So I crossed off all the. So basically, today the only things I had signed were like non-priority kind of people. I saw like Jim Calafiore, the Deadpool artist, and Cliff Chang and Becky Cloonan. Like I kind of saw them. I went back to Chip Kidd's table. I bought his new book, which is really cool, by the way. It's called Avengers Veracity Trap, where essentially it's a meta thing where the Avengers kind of come out of the comic and they interact with Chip Kidd and Michael Cho, the artist, and it's really
Oh,
neat.
interesting. Kind of sounds like Dark
A
Knight.
little bit. It's like a lighter. It's
Oh.
here's the thing. It's more. I don't
Dude,
know.
I've been
Psychedelic.
trying to get my fucking book club to read that graphic novel for like
What?
over a year at this point.
What do you mean? How are they not receptive? How are they not saying yes to that?
I don't know. I don't know. We did let's see, what graphic novel did we do? We did Mouse instead of Dark Knight. It was between the two.
See, you got to browbeat them into Dark Knight, the Batman story, man. You got to get them to do that one.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Anyway, so but yes, I'd recommend it though. It's kind of like it's more crazy and vaguely psychedelic kind of a version of
Uh-huh.
true Batman story. So the rest of the day, it was sightseeing and shopping. I had while I couldn't get the Tangled Penny, armature knitted kind of figures. I got the next best thing because I kind of happened upon this. There's this lady who had like these hand knitted kind of like figures, and there was one that caught my eye on Friday. I kept promising myself, okay, when I get to the shopping day, assuming it's still there, I think I'm gonna buy this. The
Mhm.
pricing's not too crazy. It's not like what Tangled Penny's asking for her stuff. And I just been eyeing it and eyeing it, and it was a thing where it was Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, the little knitted thing you see there right next to Daredevil and
Oh, that looks
Hulk.
sweet. Oh, sweet. Nice, nice.
Yeah, so given, like I said, Dragon Ball has been kind of has a special place in my heart. It was always there for me when I did not have Batman the animated series. I had classic Dragon Ball, so
Uh-huh.
I'm always gonna have a huge debt of gratitude to Kira Toriyama and Dragon Ball, classic Dragon Ball specifically. And essentially, it's a thing where I had so little. I had Dragon Ball Z merchandise, but I always wanted Dragon Ball merchandise, but it just didn't exist back then because Jack Specific only made
I
like the
imagine
Dragon Ball
even
Z.
now it's probably a little bit hard to come by.
Well, yes and no. Nowadays they make a bunch of statues, but they're statues more than they are like figures. But
Uh-huh.
they do occasionally. Let me put it this way: the point being, I'm very selective at the Dragon Ball merch that I do get because again I got the DVD set, which is really key to me because I was like, again that helped me through a difficult time. My grandfather passed. I got back in the anime as like a way of coping with like the harsher
Right, right.
realities and stuff. I kind of retreated back to a time of innocence and youth with all that. So the point being, I'm very selective about the Dragon Ball stuff I do get. Like I had like a Goku figure that I got like in my comic shop a while, like a few years ago, because it was just like it was too cool to pass up. And this was like kind of like the other piece of kind of Kid Goku memorabilia. It was like it was just unique. It's like I don't have any macrame knitted stuff like this, and it struck a chord with me. It's like this feels right. I mean, I have this, and I have like a few Dragon Ball Legos. It feels like I should get this.
Mhm.
So it was something special, and also serendipitously at the convention, I saw a Master Roshi, a guy dressed cosplay as Master Roshi, looked really neat.
With the turtle?
Yep, with the turtle shell and
With the
everything.
turtle shell, yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
meant. Yeah, yeah.
and
Nice.
I saw Future Trunks, which is appropriate given where we are in the Journey in the Dragon Ball series that we've been doing.
Nice, nice. Cool.
Yep. Let's see okay, real quick. Yeah, Jacob in the comments was asking, did you tell him about the podcast and the playlist? So I I made sure our playlist was updated on ours. So Tiki's probably wondering, like, why the heck, out of the blue, did we need
Yeah,
some
there
for?
was some urgency there.
So
Yeah.
that's why, because I realized, oh crap, the podcast was Tiki doesn't regularly update the playlist. And I was like, oh god, that's not good. we should try and do that in case I'm going to recommend the podcast to these guys. They should be able to find it. If I'm going to recommend So You Want to Be an Imagineer, he should be able to find it on So You Want to Be an Imagineer and not just like looking it up on YouTube and finding
Uh-huh.
Jacob's playlist. So that's why I was frantic to get that done, and I did not have sufficient time to really, to oversee that process. So that's why I delegated that.
All right.
Yeah. So the point being, so hopefully if they watch it, they will have an easy way of watching it versus having to scroll through every individual episode on the channel.
Sure, sure.
All right, let's see. Okay. So again, per tradition at the convention, I stopped by the Lego minifig booth, where basically they have like a sea of minifigures. And while I'm not a Lego guy, I can't construct a Lego to save my life. I love a good minifig. I love putting them on shelves. I think they look really cute. I love them. I
Mhm.
know to the true blue Lego aficionado, these are probably like knockoff Legos, but they're really cool looking though. I don't really buy them to be like I'm collecting the Lego. It's more like I want the characters I like in miniaturized Lego form. So this year's Legos, as you can see, you got Daredevil from Born Again and Bullseye from Born Again. They were the must-haves I absolutely needed, especially Bullseye.
Nice, nice.
I got I got my bit. So I had the Fantastic Four from the MCU's take on the Fantastic Four, along with Galactus and a little itty bitty Silver Surfer that came with Galactus
Hmm.
for scale. Ash Williams from Ash versus Evil Dead, the whole Evil Dead series. We had like little Bruce Campbell goes a long way. It was like okay, I had to limit my Legos, but it's like I kind of have to get Bruce Campbell in
sure, sure.
So then I said, Daredevil and Bullseye. But then lastly, these I've always been looking for. In the previous years, they've never been there. They've sold out or I couldn't find them. But I finally got them this year. Saul Goodman and Mike Ehrmantraut.
Ooh,
So if
nice,
you look
big one.
Right next to Kid Goku, there they are, Tiki.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, Saul Goodman, he's in a dark suit, but if you look really closely, he does have the the seven, the
Yeah, he's got like
Wayfarer.
the salmon underneath. Yeah, I can see that.
No, but also like, on his lapel, he has like the ribbon from the plane crash.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice, nice.
He's got the briefcase, and like Mike, he's holding the "don't" sign from the end of season 2. He's like holding
Uh-huh.
like Gus Fring's "don't." Anyway,
Classic, classic.
so that was a must-have. Like, finally, every year I keep asking for Saul Goodman. I finally got it this year. They had a Gus Fring, but honestly, Gus Fring didn't look that great. It was funny though. He was holding like a his prop was like a leg of chicken, which is kind of funny.
Nice, nice.
All right, let's see. So some cosplays on the way to the art. And I was just doing my shopping here. There was X-Men the animated series cosplayers. We had Wolverine versus Sabretooth, as you kind of see next to the Hulk there. And as no accident, I put that Wolverine next to the Hulk with the first appearance of Wolverine,
Hmm.
which is really neat and very appropriate given the guests who were there. And they're right behind where the X-Men were. So let me walk you through the art here, at least half of the art right now. So I got some Superman art. So I got I call it. It's called. Jacob kind of nicknamed it "Take on Superman." So let's go with the. I want to say it's the first image in rotation. There, we're about to find out. Well, we got that too. I'll circle back to them. But yeah, so I got first off, I did get this. I botched my own order there, but I got a piece of artwork from My Adventures of Superman. This was by an artist named Jeremy Fuscado. A man very desperate to make a sale, but he's a pretty good artist. I will give him that. Very cutesy stuff here, and I love My Adventures of Superman. I love the Lois Clark relationship, and I felt this kind of epitomized it pretty well. It's
Yeah.
kind of a.
Also a big year for Superman, like because we obviously have the James Gunn movie, but then also I feel like just on a personal level, our Fortress of Recap series is going really well.
So with that, Superman was on my mind between all the Superman stuff going on. That brings us to the next one.
All right.
So this one is Take on Superman. It's like the Take on Me
Oh, that's
video.
awesome.
And what's really cool about this, it's a little hard to tell through this, mind you, because I can only do so well with the camera work, and I had to
Yeah.
actually take a physical picture of the artwork on this. There are a whole bunch of Superman Easter eggs in the background of this.
Mhm.
Like, there's like all sorts of Superman. You have George Reeves Superman, the James Gunn Superman, Christopher Reeve. In the bottom, like kind of towards the side on the right there, you have the Phantom Zone criminals.
Mhm. Nice,
And
nice. I see.
actually,
Yeah.
if you look right above where Superman is in his little brick, his little Take on Me brick, his panel, I guess, being the idea, comic panels in the TV screen. Um, there's Lois Lane from Superman the Animated Series right next to the Action Comics #1. Him holding the car over his head.
Nice, nice.
Very appropriate, very fitting. So I loved it. Honestly, I was walking by and I was like flipping through the Robo Reap is the artist. Rob Reap. Rob Reap is the artist, and he had a lot of parody album covers and kind of stuff on his, and just like parody kind of like mix match kind of pop culture
Mhm.
mashup stuff. And this one really caught my eye. I desperately wanted this, but then he had a honey of a deal, Tiki. It was like uh, I think it was like for 20 or 25. I guess it was like buy two for 25. Like the other one was being thrown in versus like having to buy like two separately for $40. It was really good.
Yeah, nice, nice.
So that brings us to the next one.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. Love
So honestly,
it.
I was struggling to find like a must have in his art, but then I kind of came across this. It was like, you know what?
And then
I
how
would
can
be
you say no to that? I mean, that's just chef's kiss right
You
there.
know, it's like a blending of my passions, and it was also just the fact that it's Superman in a phone booth, which just felt so perfect, you know.
uh, uh.
All right, so then, okay, we'll circle back to the rest here. Go back to the main image.
Okay.
Okay, so I then attend the panel. So the big thing of the day, the panel was a Phineas and Ferb panel.
Ooh, nice.
Oregon. I Vince Martell left a good impression, but already I had been planning on getting some Phineas and Ferb in there, and I didn't really get a lot of conversation in there with the guy. So this was a very intimate panel. I didn't have to run to the top floor like John Carlos panel. This was like basically where we come in, we're waiting to get into the convention. They have like a string of rooms which are like convention, like panel rooms, and it was like it was a small room, very cozy, very town hall esque, Tiki. Like we were
Mhm.
all in there, but it was a really pleasant electric feel. This is a crowd that you would actually thrive in, Tiki.
I've had experiences like that. Like I remember, like the way you're describing it, kind of feels like when I went to go see Clerks 2 in theaters back in the day, and it was like probably the smallest theater in my local theater. It maybe sat like, I don't know, maybe like 3 dozen people or something. But every single person in that theater like was just super into it, and the energy was electric. So yeah, when I think of like small but really really cool nerd crowds, that's kind of what comes to mind for me.
So this was a very lovely, and I'm just gonna throw in there, a very family friendly panel in a small room, and like that was like the tone was family friendly from the get go because of the Phineas and Ferb of it all, and
Sure.
like they opened with like, hey, who has any age appropriate jokes they want to share? Like people are throwing out like interrupting cow jokes. It was adorable. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for like really just really simple jokes, and they had kids in the panel and parents and like adult. It was great.
uh,
I was so amidst this, so here's the thing: I kind of undervalued David Ergo Jr. a little bit. I knew he was Ferb. He was the replay. He's basically the new Ferb, since Thomas Sangster Jr. either grew out of the role or he basically just didn't come back for the second season. Well, sorry, for the revival, second bite of
yeah.
the apple, the revival. And so David Ergo Jr. took taken over the role, and I had no idea. I knew he had done bit parts here and there, but I kind of underestimated like how he's like very much. I would say more than Martell. He's very much a veteran voice actor. This David Ergo, he put in the work, man.
Mhm.
I was shocked to learn that I completely forgot about this. He was the voice of Mixie Spitalik in My Adventures with Superman,
Oh, interesting.
which I remember in the first season of My Adventures, the Mixie episode is my favorite episode. It was
Uh-huh.
like, oh my god, it was. So I was, and we had this moment, Tiki, where I basically he said that, and I was holding that My Adventures with Superman. I had the artwork on me and like the plastic sleeve, so it was like visible and on display. Just serendipitously, on one side I had the take on Superman, on the other side I just realized, oh my god, I have the My Adventures thing. So I held it up in front of him and says, "Yeah." It was like we had a moment. And then
Awesome.
to this day I was wearing my Batman the Animated Series button up, which was like I got it for my birthday like early in the year. It was really special, and it was like has like it looks like the logo. And it's comprised of like scenes from Batman the Animated Series. I got so many compliments on this shirt, I can't even tell you.
Nice, nice.
But I was point being, I was distinct in the room. So he says the guy in the Batman shirt, and says yes. So I hit him with a question with the Q&As.
Mhm.
I asked. Here's what I asked him because Jacob's listening. So I asked Vince Martell and David Ergo Jr. What is your bread bowl hot tub moment? I cited a gag from the recent season, which is the bread bowl hot tub is this thing that Buford wants them to build in the backyard, and every time they keep trying to do it, it just keeps getting like bumped. It keeps getting pushed, like something's like distracting them from doing it. So essentially, what is the goal? Like, what is like the thing your bucket list thing that you want to do? What is your equivalent on the show? Like your thing you want to see come from the show? And they said they would love to see Phineas and Ferb get Legos.
Oh God.
That's what's event. So David Ergo Jr. says he
I
wants
could. I,
Phineas.
I mean, I could see that. That'd be a hell of a crossover, like just from a merchandising perspective.
Well, I
Honestly.
think they mean like actual product, like actual Legos, like merchandising wise. But yeah,
No, yeah, yeah, right, right. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Just like, yeah, I mean, because the show is literally built on the same like foundation of like childhood imagination that like at least Lego should be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like you and I are both kind of in this headspace now where it's like it's Lego has kind of become like more of an adult collector's thing.
Mm-hmm.
When really, I think at the heart of it, it is more kind of like fuel for a child's imagination, which
No,
is
it should
exactly what
be.
Phineas and Ferb is. So that's why I'm saying it's a good crossover.
Yeah. I just
Right.
hope it's like more of like on the Star Wars side of things, and it's not like the like, for example, I think Frozen like they've been doing like a brick. Like Disney does like brick shorts, which essentially are not Legos. They're like the cousin of Legos. You know, they're like close to Legos, but they're
Are
not.
those not Legos? Really? I see them
Well,
advertised on Disney Plus. I just assume they are Lego.
well, I mean, I could be wrong, Tiki. I assume they're not Legos unless it's like. Here's the thing. Do you remember in the second part of the Lego movie we had like that new the Stephanie Beatrix character who was like the not a Duplo character, but like it's something that was maybe a cousin of a Duplo brick.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if they look like the Frozen brick shorts that they had look like those Duplo cousin bricks. So I don't know if that's technically Lego or like an affiliate of Lego. So I don't think it's not
Almost
straight
like
up
fucking
Lego.
Playmobil or something.
Like kind of like vaguely
Like
like that.
knockoff, like somewhere in between Duplo and Playmobil, somewhere in that realm.
Maybe. So whatever that the point it's weird to me like we have Lego Star Wars which is full on Lego and yet
And I
we
remember
have
that because we did we got the Lego Star Wars holiday special.
yeah, exactly. So it makes me wonder though like where's the line rights wise between that. So my hope is that Phineas and Ferb
And
would
of
actually
course,
be
with
able to
Lego
get
Star Wars, like Lego and Star Wars had collaborated back in the day for the video game, so there was a more of a working relationship there.
exactly. So,
Uh-huh.
it makes you wonder. Plus you have like head shapes because you can't have Phineas with like a regular Lego head. He's gotta have like the extended they have to have the weird shaped heads.
Sure, sure.
Anyway, so that's what David Ayer wants. So Vince Martellus says he wants more Star Wars, which again, Phineas and Ferb had a Star Wars episode, a Star Wars parody episode, which they loved and everyone loved, and they basically want more of that.
Hmm.
All right. So then they also got into how Candace Against the Universe really is the reason Phineas and Ferb got the revival. That was like what got them the green light. Apparently, the popularity. Disney Plus okayed more Phineas and Ferb because of the rewatchability, and people were rewatching because of Candace Against the Universe.
Nice,
So they
nice.
that's what saved Phineas and Ferb essentially.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as deep into Phineas and Ferb as you guys are, but I did watch that when it came out, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So,
Yeah. So, couple tidbits before we get out of here. There's not a lot left.
uh-huh.
One more rant against the. I meant this really should
Oh
have gone
boy,
on this. This goes on Saturday, but I'm just going to say it here because I can get in there with the
sure.
super with the in quotes super soldiers. This really burned me up. Okay, so I had a very simple goal this year with one of the big people I wanted to see. I wanted to see Garth Ennis. I've met Garth Ennis at the convention before, but
Uh-huh.
I don't have a lot of Garth Ennis stuff to get signed. I had gotten him to sign my Punisher comics, which is not a lot, but I had him sign like the war. I think it was the Punisher Warzone run that he did, like in a trade paperback. So I had him sign my book, like one singular Punisher book once.
Hmm.
And in the years since, I'd get into the boys and preacher and all sorts of stuff. I don't really have the books for it, but I mean, I've seen the stuff, so I have a great appreciation for Garth Ennis, and I've just met him, just casually mentioned like how much I like what he thinks of the boys and stuff like that. Anyway, so this year I realized, you know what? I have one special Garth Ennis comic I would like him to sign. It's very dear to me. I have from his Punisher run. I have the comic which is Daredevil chained to the roof, which we got in season 2 of Daredevil, like with the gun taped to his hand and everything. That one.
Right, right, yeah.
And that's really meaningful to me. That was my whole Daredevil season 2 experience. When I saw they were going to do that roof scene, it came from that comic that I had. It was like, you know what, Garth Ennis is going
And
to
I
be
would still
there.
say that's probably like easily among the maybe top 5 scenes in the entire Daredevil run.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
So I was eager to get him to sign that, and it wasn't like wouldn't make or break me, but I was like, you know what? I like darn it, I'm determined to get it done this year. So I fished it out when I was doing my big exploration. I put it to the side and I had it with me. And so in the weeks before the convention, Garth Ennis he went from there being there all 3 days to being there for 2 days, which that happens, and they
Uh
reflected
huh.
that. And in the program they put out, it said Garth Ennis only going to be here Saturday and Sundays. Like, okay, that's doable. Saturday and Sunday, that's fine. And I think he's done that. Ennis has kind of pulled that in the past too, where he's only been here like specific days, even if usually he's there for like a 2 day thing. Anyways, that's not out of the ordinary. So I'm there. It's either before or after the panel on Saturday. I think it's like probably after the panel. I'm like, okay, I'm in the neighborhood because of Mark Wade. I'm waiting for Mark Wade to come back to the table. It's like I'm gonna go down because like all the way down there is where Garth Ennis is. Like, okay. And I go there, I'm looking at like the numbers on the tables, like, 203, 202, and he's supposed to be like 201. I go to right next to 202, 2009. I was like, what happened here?
What? Oh no.
So
Oh
I
god. That oh dragon that my autism like structure, the crave for structure, that fucks with me. That fucks with me.
so I'm
And
doing
I
like a
wasn't even
double.
there.
So I'm doing like a double take, and I'm checking the book, making
Right,
sure, like,
right.
okay, well, last I checked, 202 comes after 201. So,
Exactly.
and
Oh
I'm looking at the floor, and the floor usually has it written down. Like, the whole convention is really, in case you ever get lost at the Baltimore Comic Con, the floors have, like, the number sections, like 200 and 300, like 200 on the left, 300 on the right, that kind of thing.
mhm.
So, like, all labeled, like, what the sections numerically are, in case you don't have the program. But again, I'm looking there, I'm checking the book, like, Garth Ennis is supposed to be here. I checked online, even, I'm pretty sure, and like, I looked like, yeah, he's supposed to be there. So I I go to the information booth, which essentially is the equivalent to the super soldiers and the red shirts, and or non-helpful helper people. And I go there, and it's like a Marx Brothers routine. I'm just going there. It's like, so first off, I have a guy near me. It's like, hey, do you know where Garth Ennis is? Like, yeah, it's supposed to be in 201. Look at the book. 201, 2009. How does that happen? That's what I'm asking. The guy says, huh, I don't know. Follow me. Let me find out for it. And he basically just takes me to the information booth. Thank you. Like, I couldn't get there on my own. Okay. He couldn't just say, like, hey, go to the information booth. So it was giving me really hope he was going to talk to somebody in the know. So I'm on board. I'm optimistic. Like, okay, where is Garth Ennis? Maybe his table got moved somewhere somehow. That's what I'm thinking. And they're telling me, "Oh yeah, Garth Ennis canceled this year." No, he didn't. No, no, no. Look in the book you gave us all right here. This is he is
God.
supposed to be here. And they're
Yeah.
looking. They're saying, like, they look on this list of people who canceled. It's like, well, how? I'm asking, how is that possible? Like, how did he cancel when he's, like, in the program online? It says he's going to be here these 2 days. And I didn't even. I guess maybe they updated very last minute online, but it was like we're talking like a week beforehand. It's like, it says reduced from 3 days to 2 days, but not canceled. He's not completely canceled. So that was a bummer. That was a no show. That was like, so Garth Ennis eluded my grasp yet again.
Yeah. Just poor
So
planning, nothing you can do about it.
yep, so that one was a bit of a bummer, but it wasn't a major. It didn't break me, but it was like I thought it was really in the cards. So
Yeah,
on
right, right.
So in some of the final stuff I was doing, I when I stopped back to Chip Kidd's booth to get the buy his book, because I bought the book from, like, his representative there, and I got the artist to sign, who was at the table. I was waiting for Chip Kidd to come back. So later there, he showed back up, and I got him to sign. I was like, hey, are we ready to go? Like, oh wait, I got to get him to sign this. So I went back, and Chip Kidd doesn't have a line, so it's fine. So I went back there, I got him to sign. But right before then, I had a really bizarre full circle moment that you're gonna like. So
Okay.
years back, when I went to the Harbor Hilton, which is where the Monster Mania was, to see Stan Lee had this signing event where it was a fancy thing. You paid extra, like a
This was like
VIP thing.
before you even started going to cons, right? This was just like, okay, I gotta go here just to meet Stan Lee.
It was. I was going to conventions. This was maybe like let's say it was probably like my third convention. This was like 2012, maybe.
Got it, got it.
This was early on. This I saw. I don't know if this is the first or second. I think it was the second time I saw Stan Lee. I think out of the two times that I saw the man. And basically, the way it worked was Stan Lee was at this. He had this event where it was it's like, hey, spend the night with Stan Lee, kind of a thing, like with friends, and like you had like a Q&A with other comic creators, and Stan Lee would show up and he would sign stuff after, like, the Q&A at this hotel. And basically, Stan Lee was late, and while he was late, I guess getting set up, we had the comic creators in there, and we were talking about Stan Lee things, and there was this guy, I believe was also a fellow, like, comic creator, like a guy who was like regularly at the convention, and he brought up that he was getting people to sign Seduction of the Innocent, the Frederick Wortham book.
Hmm.
And basically he would, like, have people, like, people in the industry sign, because Frederick Wortham almost killed the comics industry. It'd be like kind of like a revenge from beyond the grave kind of a thing. My point is he got Stan Lee and everyone to sign this, and the impetus of the idea is he would get Stan Lee to sign. But while Stan Lee was late, all the other creators were there, and some of them could be rather filthy. And like Frank Cho, who's known for drawing attractive, mostly nude women.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Amanda Connor, who again go all over the place. There's the Harley Quinn comics, and just point being like with a wonderfully kind of raw sense of humor, I should say. So the point being, when I'm seeing Chip Kidd, this guy's there with that same book, and I recognize that man. And I was like, "Hey, I remember you from the Harbor Hilton." He's like, "Oh yeah, like years ago, it's Stan Lee." Yeah, we were waiting there, and he basically regaled me and Chip Kidd about the whole. He got Chip Kidd to sign this book because I saw the birth of this guy's tradition, Tiki,
Oh
where
wow, that's
he
crazy.
just the whole impetus was getting Stan Lee to sign it. And while he was telling these guys, again, I guess because he was in the industry, he's like, he got them to sign. They would doodle in the book and draw like filthy things. The gag being, Frederick Wortham was all about the horrors and the horrible nature and the shockingness of really tame comics. They would draw really truly filthy things that make fun of Frederick Wortham throughout the book.
Mm.
So it become this gag here, and so I saw Chip Kidd draw a very basically I saw Chip Kidd draw a very large penis in this book.
Wow.
Very graphically, but again, that was like what all the other people had done in the book, though. So he
Yeah,
explained
yeah,
this
yeah.
tradition to the guy. That's what Chip Kidd drew there. It was like really like pubic hair, the whole 9 yards.
Oh boy.
Anyway, but it was like a really trippy kind of like full circle moment to like seeing the birth of this tradition to where it's at now. It was like really
Right,
trippy.
right. Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
Let's see, is on the way out. I'm seeing like I saw a Ninja Turtle, saw Raphael like posing by the elevator, like a full on Henson quality costume of like Raphael from the Ninja Turtles, which looked
Did he have
really
the
cool.
trench coat?
No trench coat.
That would have been cool.
He wasn't in hiding though. He wanted the limelight.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I saw a Walter White, which you can see right next to Saul Goodman there,
Hmm.
with meth.
Yes, yes, I see it. I see it.
So on the way out with my purchases, I was buying some art this day, and I got the last one I had was Dave Perillo art. So Dave Perillo, this guy's artwork is modeled very much after like the '50s style of like pop art. It's a very pop art inspired look. And
So this, right?
yep, Inspector Gadget. That was one I bought.
I'm not the biggest Gadget fan, but I really, really like this.
Now, it doesn't, the photo I took of this does not do it justice because of lighting and everything, but it's really cool. You can kind of see a hint of it. If you look really closely, like the overcoat, you can see his skeleton, like the robotic skeleton underneath. It's like a lenticular kind of effect.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
So you can see like the gadgets kind of almost like an
Uh-huh.
operation game. So that's the thing. This guy's artwork is
Well, that's the thing
inspired.
that when I saw this, that's kind of instantly like that must be what it takes inspiration from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's the thing. His whole thing is like based off like the very kind of like I'm trying to search for the word here. The very kind of like propaganda. It's very propaganda art kind of inspired
A
too.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I can
this
see
is
that.
the two samples that I sent you here, like just scratching the surface. He had a lot of really good stuff I could have bought, man. Like he had like it's like there's a whole thing like a Spider-Man artwork that was like Peter Parker and the Spider, and it was like done like a '50s B movie, like beware the radioactive spider, like a radioactive a lot of PSA stuff, like beware the dangers of radioactivity kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
promotional art. Anyway, so the other thing that he did was the other last piece I sent you there.
Sorry, go ahead. This.
Yes, Mike's new car. This really charmed me. It was like we were in the
That's
month
very,
of.
very snazzy.
That's the thing. It just looked really cool and is with that pop art kind of sense there. And I love
Right.
Mike's new car, the short. And actually, what's funny? This year I bought. I was at a Target one time, and I bought. They had like a little diorama of the climax of Back to the Future, like a tiny little like micro machine DeLorean in there, and also. I got these little, they call them like almost like fighting racers, where essentially it was like you had Iron Man going up against Spider Man in the Spider Buggy, and the other one was Mike and Sully, and you had Mike in Mike's new car from the short, and you had Sully in like the little sled that he made out of the lingonberry jam containers. The sled down the mountain to save Boo. It was turned into a car though. It was really adorable. So it just felt like I kind of have to have this. I have that thing from Mike's new car. Like yes, it's adjustable, as Little Blue says. The seats.
Uh-huh.
All right, so on my last thing I did on my way out, you can go back to the main image.
Yeah.
Last thing I did on my way out was I felt I kind of owed him because I underestimated him. David Ergo Jr. Now, mind you, I knew he was great as fur, but I just like the fact that, oh my god, he was Mixie as well. So I showed up, I gave
Sure,
him
sure,
props.
sure.
I
Yeah.
told him I completely forgot you did Mixie, man. You did a wonderful job as Mixie, and he basically intimated that, oh yeah, if they we don't know if we're coming, how many more seasons they're coming back for, but they said like they proposed like a whole Mixie, like a season of My Adventures, where if they go for like a season 5 or something, we might see Mixie as like the big bad.
Oh wow.
Like there's hopes and aspirations for My Adventures. I
Sure.
will say there 3 is definitely on the way. 3 is in the work. Yeah, 3 is like I optimistically will be released next year. It's supposed to be. They have a spin-off in the works too. So I mean they're working on it this year and we've seen the promotional art for it. So it's in the works, but I don't know when it's gonna
It's
come
not going
out.
to be as good as the Jimmy Olsen spinoff.
Well,
We'll talk about that when we get to
yeah.
memoirs.
Anyway, so point being, I told so with both Phineas and Ferb, I told him about the podcast. I said, Martella has the card, but I recommended. I told him like some of the segments that we do, like the whole "Dang it, Carl" segment, and
Nice, nice, nice.
gritty reboot time and everything. So, and I didn't mention well, but the
Yeah.
Jacobs reference. We have kind of a running gag of like well,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, so this was so yeah, it was really he was nice, and we had a nice moment there, and it was a nice way to kind of cap things off. And that was the convention. We got out of there at a decent time with the whole early leaving thing, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like things have pretty much ironed out as far as your planning goes, for sure.
Yeah,
I will say that I'm totally with you, though, as far as like, I think that, with the agents, it is a fine line because, right, like you need to make profit, but at the same time, I kind of feel like, yeah, if you're drawing nobody because you're pricing everyone out, then there's got to be kind of a workaround there. So next year, I'm going to be very interested to see if that just continues to be an issue, or maybe they kind of get the hint. We'll see.
yeah. Also, before we go, because I forgot, I mentioned every other image on this thing, but this one. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
right next to the Hulk's fist, which, by the way, of course, the Hulk, he's like a landmark there. You have this giant Hulk on top of like this statue place, which is really neat. Right next to it, you will notice a Sith Lord Deadpool next to Gambit.
Okay, yeah, right, right.
It's just I just want to point out because it's really cool. Also, you see Daredevil like around where the Hulk is, and he's around where the Hulk is because of the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. It's like my little nod to that.
Nice, nice.
Anyway, but yeah, so it was a lot of cool cosplays overall. And these are people like I always respect the people who dress up beyond Saturday. Saturday's the costume contest. People that dress up like on Friday and Sunday, who aren't just the kids. Those are the people that care.
All
All right,
right.
so that's about it. So that is the end of the journey.
All right. Well, thanks to Little Blue, Jacob Weil, of course. Let's see. Slasher Fred popped up for a minute there, and I think that's it. Sonia Pantoja literally said hi at the very beginning. That's about it.
Yep.
All right, and yeah, we will see y'all later. Dragon, thanks for regaling us. It's been a fun time.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.